ESPN app. Presented by Indeed.
The biggest games, the biggest rivalries, all right here, live. You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week pregame show, brought to you by Mr. Chubby's Wings on ESPN 690, ESPN690.com, and on Facebook at ESPN 690 Jax. Here's Brent Martineau.
Hey, we're back at it on another Friday night, this time in Duval County. 6 o'clock early starts this fall for Duval County, and the game of the week takes us to Main Street. Used to be the nightmare on Main Street. Is it getting back to the nightmare on Main Street? That's the question for Andrew Jackson. The Tigers will host the Westside Wolverines here in our Action Sports Jacks game of the week. Brent Martineau along with Kevin Sullivan, and haven't retired your name or number or made a plaque or named this field after you yet. This is where you kind of got everything done here in Jacksonville, right here at Jackson.
Yeah, this is a great place for me. There's a lot of great memories on here, a lot of great kids, a lot of good wins, some tough losses, but a lot of relationships built and lives changed on this field when I was here. But yeah, it's great to be back on to get to watch them on the field, and it's a little weird sitting in the press box up in this stadium. I won't say it's not. So. Real excited about this matchup. What's funny about this one, though, Brent, is the Hurricane for Andrew Jackson wasn't a big deal. That was their open week.
Yeah.
For Westside, they had a big game with Baldwin. Then they got rained. They got rained out. Had to get moved. Had 2 days of practice. Played on Monday. Coach Dubois said they weren't ready to play. Didn't think they were ready to play. He felt that going in early, and they didn't play very well. So he was right. So they're 2-1 coming in. And where Jackson sort of easing it out, didn't really have big effect on the Hurricane, and they got a couple days of practice last week, and then they had all week to get ready to go.
And if you even just look at it from a roster standpoint, that could impact Westside a little bit more anyway, because they don't have huge numbers.
Right.
35 to 40 kids on their roster. Meanwhile, the numbers back here at Andrew Jackson are up again because of Antoine Atwater and what he's been able to do as the head coach and kind of build back what you built at one time. Let's be honest. You left, Coach. You went to Atlantic Coast, then ended up at Ed White. But there was an interim here at Andrew Jackson where football really struggled. In and out of coaches, even did not play for a year. And now Antoine Atwater's really done a fantastic job to bring this back up to speed.
Yes.
And it looks like they are on the rise.
Yeah, done a real good job. The thing that he's done a good job of, the school changed a couple years ago to advanced technology magnet. And the principal, Dr. Clinch, has done a tremendous job of marketing the school. It's a really solid academic school. It's got a great environment in the hallways. And then Coach Atwater had the opportunity to come in, and he knew it was going to be a struggle. I mean, he played down at Rains. He was on the losing end a couple of those wins we had over there. And, I think he's the right guy because he's got a good temperament for what he's doing, and he knows it's going to take some time. And, they won 2 the first year. They won 4 last year. Only has about 8 seniors, probably 4 play. And so he's got the future really looks bright. They've got about 80 kids out. And the JV got a big win last night, where last year and the year before they didn't even have JV.
Yeah. So there you go. You have signs of growth.
Yes,
signs
awesome.
of building it back up. And that's cool to see. Because this is a special place. They like their football, and I think it's great that they've come back. And it's a hard thing to do, especially in this day and age,
yes,
where people can
nowadays.
transfer all over. You've got a ton of schools to go to, a lot of kids getting looked at. It's really an admirable job of what Coach Atwater and everybody else here at Andrew Jackson has been able to do to resurrect this football program, and it's a good thing to see, and we're glad to be here for the Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. You talk about what they've been able to do and talk about the other side of things, the Westside Wolverines, who had to start basically and not start a program, but they kind of got a refresh when
Yes.
Coach Rodney DuBose got there years ago. This is a great man. And
really
it's
good,
all
solid.
about, before it's about football, it's about people. And it's a people business. It's a young man business trying to get these kids ready for the next level. Well, I don't know if there's a better example of a coach that does that than Rodney DuBose.
Well, see, Rodney, the thing that he had, and you guys got to remember now, they were in that district with Bowles and Trinity Christian last year, and they weren't ready to compete, but he didn't back down from that district. He told his kids, we're going to go, we're going to continue to do what we do, we're going to build it. He's proud of what they've done. He says he believes it does things the right way, develops players, takes them through the individual process with the structure of the team. And then they love their kids over there, and he's perfect guy there. He's trying to create men and change lives on over there at Westside High School. And like I said, he's got a really good group of kids that have stayed with him and been with him, and it should be a good ball game tonight.
Well, he has a phrase: "It's built, not borrowed."
Right, exactly.
And again, it kind of speaks to what I'm talking about. Try to keep those kids at Westside High School. Try to grow them and see. What you can make them into. And they've got some talent there on Westside. They'll throw it around the yard a little bit here tonight. And I think it's interesting, and we'll share some of these stories along the way, but he's actually gone to the basketball courts inside Westside High School, much like Atwater has done here at Jackson, and said, hey, you look like you'd be a pretty good wide receiver. You look like you'd be a pretty good corner or safety. And they've been able to grab some hoopsters and bring them out here to the football field. And now some of those guys might be playing at the next level.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. I mean, basketball's a great sport. And the kids, nowadays everybody wants to specialize so much. But to be able to, if you're a 6'2" guard in high school basketball and you're an okay shooter and handle the ball well, there ain't a lot of places for you to go. But if you're a 6'2" wideout or a 6'2" corner, you can find a place to go play now. So, again, both guys do a good job, and I think both guys are trying to build it the right way and continue to promote Duval County football and promote the public schools in Duval County.
Well, we're excited about it. We started this journey on Action Sports Jack's Game of the Week on ESPN 690 out in Lake City, Columbia, Trinity, and Columbia. Last week we were in St. Johns County. Prior to that, we were in Nassau County. Well, now we're home in Duval,
baby.
Right? We're back in Duval. The 6 o'clock starts. I want to ask you about the early start. That's coming up. But before we do that, we're going to take a time out here in the Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan, our Game of the Week. Jackson hosts Westside. We're here all evening long on a Friday night.
Game of Thrones, the live concert experience, is coming to Jacksonville at Daly's Place on September 20th, and ESPN 690 has your chance to win tickets to the show. So head on over to the contest page at ESPN690.com to enter for your last chance to win a pair of tickets to the Game of Thrones live concert experience.
Tonight's pregame show is sponsored by Mr. Chubby's Wings. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go before the game, during the game, and after the game. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options, and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at hondaoftheavenues.com. The Honda Giant.
The response to Beard's Diamond's 5 years, 0 interest with no money down has been so spectacular, we're extending it till the end of September.
Get her that designer setting she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months.
This month only at Beard's in the Town Center.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Florida's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week pregame show, brought to you by Mr. Chubby's Wings on ESPN 690. Here's Brent Martineau.
Welcome back to Jackson versus Westside here on the Action Sports Jack's Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau along with Kevin Sullivan. And we're getting ready for the game as the national anthem just played. Teams will be introduced in just a moment. Coin flip coming up in just a moment. So we will be ready to go. But let's get it rocking with our keys to the game. Honda at the Avenues, Lou Saab Honda at the Avenues, Jacksonville's Honda Giant, the Honda dealer that makes you happy, brings us our keys to the game. What are you looking at tonight, Coach Kevin Sullivan?
Well, for Jackson, the keys of the game is establish the run on offense, which will help set up all the play action passes. Don't give up the big play on defense. A couple weeks ago at Father Lopez, they gave up 3 passes over 50 yards in their only loss, and then they need to do something on special teams. So for Jackson, those are the 3 things I think they need to do. On Westside, they need to establish some form of running game. The quarterback's the leading rusher. They've averaged about 35 yards a game rushing. They have to eliminate turnovers. Their one loss was big elimination of the turnovers. And then the red zone offense, they were inside the red zone. They were inside the red zone 4 times Monday night, which came away with no points. So Coach Dubois says that's something they've been working on, the red zone offense.
Lou Saab Honda, the Avenues, Jacksonville's Honda Giant, the Honda dealer that makes you happy, the Honda at the Avenues, keys to the game. Introductions, coin flip, all in the works in the next couple of minutes, and then a kickoff between Jackson and Westside on our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. We'll take one more time out. We'll bring you back, and we'll have kickoff of this one. An early start in Duval County, 6 o'clock here on ESPN 690. It's coming up in just a few moments.
I think it's time to let go.
Top-ranked Clemson at the Syracuse Orange. Coverage begins Saturday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. Presented by Goodyear.
Tonight's pregame show is sponsored by Mr. Chubby's Wings. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go before the game, during the game, and after the game. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options, and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at hondaoftheavenues.com. The Honda Giant.
It's time to chub it up with my favorite wings in the Jacksonville area. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go. 2 locations, one on the west side and one in Fleming Island. I've been to both. Then I called the owner up and said, hey, I like the wings so much, I want to endorse them. It's a true story. And here we are. Bring the family on Mondays to the Fleming Island location for 50-cent wings. Tuesdays at the Westside location, it's all-you-can-eat wings. Try the Maple Cajun or the Johnny-style wings. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
A beautiful night for some high school football as Westside. How about a little round-off?
And lost the helmet.
Backflip coming out of the gates. I love this. The athleticism shown off on the introductions for Westside. And here comes Jackson, the Tigers. Homestanding Jackson Tigers, led by their mascot out on the football field here on Main Street. Brent Martineau along with Kevin Sullivan for the call tonight. Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Thanks to our support and sponsors. Mr. Chubby's Wing just had our pregame show. And, of course, the keys to the game brought to you by Honda at the Avenues. And a little bit later, we'll talk about our Baker Sports Coach of the Week. We've had 3 of them now, so we'll introduce you to them more toward halftime. We'll see what happens here tonight. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. As it's still early in the season, but both teams want to try to get in a rhythm now. You mentioned Jackson had their bye week, so they haven't played in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Meanwhile, Westside, just the opposite. They're playing twice in a 5-day span. That's challenging.
Yeah, but very much so. Sometimes as a coach, though, it's challenging, but it's also keep your kids' attention pretty much. You didn't have that Monday lull. You came in Tuesday, got a quick review, introduced the game plan, and then boom, it's Wednesday, Thursday, then you're playing the game. So sometimes the coaches like that just as a change-up. Not all the time, of course not. But, again, not having a lot of depth at Westside, we'll see if that plays a factor as it moves on, and then Jackson should be pretty rested. Not playing in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Not a very physical week for Westside because of the game on Monday. As for the 6 o'clock starts, we're getting our first glimpse of it here in Duval County. But what do you think about it? How challenging it is for both coaching staffs to get their team ready to play an hour earlier than they normally would, or at least are accustomed to?
Right. Well, the thing about it, I think they did it for the right reason. They moved it for the right reasons. But I don't know if they carte blanche, sort of did it right across the board. And it affects people differently. Like Andrew Jackson, they don't get out till 2:55, where most of the other schools get out at 2 o'clock. So they're in a little different dilemma. And then with their stadium being down it's not right there at the school. It's about a mile down the road. That's a different dilemma. So I think what they did was a good thing. But at the same time, I think they could have pick and choose some of these games that they've had the issues with and change it instead of going right across the board. Everybody's playing at 6.
And one of the things that's very challenging is for parents and
Yes.
fans and everybody else to get out here and off of work and through the traffic and be able to be ready to play and see their kids play and see their team play at 6 o'clock. But we are underway, speaking of playing, and Westside will get the ball first. In fact, they'll get it in pretty good field position because the kickoff goes out of bounds for Jackson, and so not a great kickoff attempt, and Westside will be on offense. They are here wearing their white jerseys with charcoal gray pants, red helmets. Meanwhile, you get gray uniforms with red trim for Jackson, and they're in their red helmets as well.
Hey, one good thing's a positive already. We can see both numbers on these jerseys.
We can. They stick out. No excuses is what you're telling me?
Yeah, no excuses.
We'll see about that as Westside gets the ball first. The Wolverines, led by Daiten and Otis at the quarterback spot, and Elliott Blair as well. And we've got a flag before we even get rolling. We've got 2 flags, and we've had 1 play.
I think we got backplate not covered up, or I don't know what they're doing here.
The Jackson
they got 12 guys on the field, Coach, to start the game.
5 yards,
That's not going to make Coach Atwater happy.
Yeah, not a good way to start. Kickoff out of bounds and 12 men on the field. So good field position at their own 43 for Westside. Westside will operate out of the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left. And the handoff right up the middle. And it's a good gain over midfield and down inside the 45-yard line of Jackson.
That was Braswell. Nice little inside zone play right there. Good little handoff. He hit it. They got good blocking on the right side and got going, moved it down, get a first down, move the chains.
Jaquan Braswell. Shotgun again, and Braswell will get it again. This time not as much doing, although he kind of backs his way down to the 40-yard line. Nice job. Good effort. Picked up a couple of extra yards up the middle.
Yeah, it looked like number 50, Tyrone Campbell, linebacker, in on the tackle with K.J. Mahone, defensive tackle. Again, trying to establish the run. Westside's Coach feels pretty good about his offensive line, so they're just sort of running right at him right now. Pretty good size up front there for Westside.
Elliott Blair in the game at quarterback for Westside and gets the snap shotgun and hands it to Braswell again. To the left, has a hole, shakes a tackle. Now on the near side of the field, down to the inside the 30-yard line. So another good pickup, another first down. Braswell running hard at the start of the game, and it's working for Westside.
Yeah, that was a real good run. He broke a tackle at the line, and another first down. And, again, they haven't been able to run the ball from the running back spot effectively, only averaging like 35 yards a game. So this is a big, good start for them. And that tackle's made by Easy Lumpkin, one of my favorite names on the Jackson
They've
team.
got nicknames all over the place
Yes,
for Jackson,
sir.
which is a lot of fun. So it's 1st and 10 inside the 30-yard line for Westside. The snap, and this time Jackson's defense is all over the running back, Jeremiah Bradley. That will be a loss of a couple.
Yeah, I don't know if Otis is hurt right now. The quarterback for Westside.
Yeah, Daiten Otis is the starting quarterback, and that's kind of thrown us off. We talked to Coach DeBose, and there was no news on Otis. So unless something happened in the last little bit in terms of injury or some other reason, Right now, it's the backup quarterback, Elliott Blair, in the game to start the game here on a Friday night at Andrew Jackson High School. So it'll be a loss of a few, 2nd and 13. And now the jet sweep, the handoff, and on the far side of the football field, it's a good gain by Westside. So the Wolverines' offense clicking pretty well here in the early going. It will bring up a 3rd and manageable situation for Westside after Ernest Terry is able to pick up a good chunk of yardage.
Yeah, this run a little speed sweep, basically a little outside zone play. Good block by the running back. Braswell down there got a good block on the outside linebacker and good pop to grab a good gainer on that play.
They'll set up on the right hash. Shotgun formation, about 3rd and 4 for Westside. Bradley has it, and he's met pretty immediately. He'll hit about the 23-yard line. A flag comes in late, and it's probably going to be a face mask against Jackson. So that will be a big helper to Westside to keep this drive alive, it looks like, as penalties continue to pile up early against the Tigers.
Yeah, I think, again, it's just a little inside run play. We got a face mask. I'm not sure who it was on. Sometimes that stuff happens in the pile, driving, hitting the face mask, pulling it down. But Westside's coming out doing exactly what they want to do to start this game, establish the run and move the football.
Well, that'll bring up a first down now inside the 20-yard line. 16-yard line of Jackson. This is a good drive to start after good field position to begin things for Westside. Blair's going to go under center for the first time in this game. I formation now for Westside. And the give is to Terry. And Terry actually collided with Blair. Not much of a pickup there as the rhythm of that play was thrown off immediately.
Yeah, that didn't look good from the start. They looked like they were out of sync on that play as far as the timing of the handoff and everything. But it looks like Otis come back in, starting quarterback. I see number 1 in, but no, he's in, but he's not at quarterback, I don't think.
Well, Otis, Ditan and Otis will be wearing number 2.
Nope, not in.
Yeah, Braswell, number 1, is in the game. Blair stays in the game. I formation once again. It's Braswell and now Bradley switch. Bradley playing the fullback spot. And Blair trips down, gives it to Braswell, and that's just a couple of yards ahead, maybe even just got back to the line of scrimmage. So, again, the rhythm of those last 2 plays kind of thrown off. One, they collided with each other, and then a trip on the handoff that time by Blair.
Yeah, it didn't look like Blair was very comfortable up underneath the center, but I'll tell you, Aaron Cromes is getting great push from inside. Him and K.J. Mahone are getting really good push inside right here. They've gone to a 3 down front, covering them up and just bringing it.
3rd and a bundle now from the 18-yard line for Westside. Shotgun snap, and wow, that's a sack immediately. What a big play by Jackson, and now all of a sudden you have to wonder if even a field goal is possible as it bring up 4th and long for Westside. Nobody blocked one of the Tigers there.
Yeah, Jeremy Parker, he just came off the edge and pretty much unblocked right there. I thought they were going to throw a little quick screen out there to the 3 wide receivers on the left side, but they nobody accounted for him. I think the back might have gone the wrong way, it looked like.
Well, this will bring in Jonathan Salvador Cano. He does the kicking duties, punting duties as well. And they will spot this around the 33-yard line. So a 43-yard attempt for Salvador Cano. The snap, the set's good, and the kick is high and up, but can it have enough? No,
short.
It doesn't. A
They
couple
got
of
a
yards
penalty.
short.
I think.
Another flag on the field, but the kick is no good, at least for now. Let's see what the officials have to say about it. 43-yard kick, no good. Actually got it up in the air pretty nice. Just didn't have enough leg to get it there.
Offsides on Jackson.
Well, now do you try it again after seeing that kick?
Well, I mean, they're going to
5 yards will really help.
5 might help him. Let's see what he's going to do. I mean, it's going to make it, 4th and 20? Well, Blair,
it's
no,
4th
to
and
keep.
a bunch.
Yeah, it's going to be, 4th and 14 or so?
Yeah, they're going to bring their offense back out on the field, I think, instead. I thought that was a pretty good kick.
Yeah, not bad. He was a little short. He got a little bit up underneath it, but he's got decent legs, so we got a little bit of confusion on the Westside offense, getting personnel in.
Westside brings Bradley back in. Terry goes out, and now Blair will go out of the shotgun, 2 backs in the backfield on 3rd and let's call it 4th and 13, excuse me. Blair launches it down the right sideline, throws it up for grabs, and it's caught for a touchdown in the end zone by Jared Ely. Ely just went up and grabbed it. That was basically, hey, go make a play for me, and Ely was able to do it. That's a touchdown for Westside, and the Wolverines strike first on a 4th and 13 play from 20 yards out.
Yeah, Ely did a nice job just going up and get that ball. Blair threw it up high where his guy, and he had he had a vertical on that one because he got up there pretty good. And I'll tell you, Ely's been a really solid receiver for him. That's his 3rd touchdown of the year. That was his 9th reception for now. He's over 150 yards, 3rd touchdown of the year, and he's been sort of a big play. They've done a good job of spreading the ball around. They have 3 guys that have over 6 catches on the season. Westside, but it looks like we got one down. I don't know if it was Ely came down funny when he caught the ball.
That's a Jackson player, so getting looked at by the Jackson coaching and training staff, so we'll keep an eye on that. To your point, Ely is kind of one of their playmakers, and he just went up and made a play because he also returns kicks, returns punts, so they like to utilize him in a lot of different ways, but on a big 4th and 13 play, he just said, hey, go up and make this one. He jumped up and got it, and it's a touchdown 20 yards out for Westside, and they go up 6-0 as we continue to have a player down on the field to take a look at. And we'll take a timeout while they take a look at this young man as the teams go to the sideline right now. Give you an update on the injury, and we'll have an extra point after Westside scores first in this one. Our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Early in the first, 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, 6-0. Westside over Jackson.
I think Carson Wentz is going to come back and have a resurgent year.
Are you not concerned at all with the lack of depth at quarterback position? They had to rely a lot on Nick Foles. Carson Wentz gets hurt every year.
Not every year.
Go Lick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
It's time to chub it up with my favorite wings in the Jacksonville area. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go. 2 locations, one on the west side and one in Fleming Island. I've been to both. Then I called the owner up and said, hey, I like the wings so much, I want to endorse them. It's a true story. And here we are. Bring the family on Mondays to the Fleming Island location for 50-cent wings. Tuesdays at the Westside location, it's all-you-can-eat wings. Try the Maple Cajun or the Johnny-style wings. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
Hey, welcome back to our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Sean Barnes being helped off the field. The Jackson Tiger defending on the play on what would be a touchdown play by Westside was injured and needs help getting off the field. So hopefully that young man is okay. As we welcome you back on ESPN 690, Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. And the extra point is up and, what do they say, no good. Hooked left by Jonathan Salvador Cano. So no good, and it will remain 6-0 with 7:26 to go in the first quarter. That was the opening drive of this football game.
Yep.
They chewed up 4.5 minutes. They got helped by 4 different penalties on the drive. One, the opening kickoff, a 12-man on the field, then a face mask, and then after a missed field goal, they moved the ball closer. Coach DeBow says, hey, instead of kicking again, let's go for it on 4th and 13. They take a chance down the field, and it cashed in.
Yeah, again, Westside, I think Coach come out, decided he was going to run the football at him and trying to establish the run, and they've done a really nice job of that. And then they get in that situation, get a one-on-one jump ball out there, and Terry does a nice job. Good throw by Blair. Again, Blair's not the starting quarterback. He is a senior, though.
Yes.
So he's been around, and he's been on the team. DJ Otis has been the starter for 3 years now, and he's a junior. Started 6 games as a freshman. First start was against Trinity Christian. So he got initiated a fire. So we don't know why, but again, it worked out It worked out for Coach. It worked out for Westside. They're up 6-0.
Yeah, that Tannen Otis is the QB, and a really good one for Westside. I wonder how much it changes what they want to do offensively. Now, they do have backs in the backfield that can get it done. We just saw it. But still, that kind of threw us for a little bit of a loop. Starting quarterback not in, and a little bit challenging because of the game plan. He can really throw it. They like to sling it around and use those receivers you were mentioning.
Right, yeah, and not only can he throw it, they'll run some zone read with him, and then he'll be able to take off and keep plays alive with his feet, too. So we'll see how that sort of game in the game progresses as this goes on. And so we got the kickoff here, and 6-0 Westside.
All right, so here we go as Jackson will get their turn for the first time here on this Friday night. Our Action Sports Jacks game of the week. 7:26 to go in the first quarter. 6-0 Westside. And the kick is up. It's a high one. The ball will land at the 15-yard line, bounce, and then be picked up. And then Jackson is brought down about the 22-yard line. So really good coverage by Westside on a play that looked like it might have had a little bit more.
Yeah, good tackle, because if he didn't make that tackle, I think Jonathan Jackson might have broke that one. Jackson's an interesting story, ninth grader. Had 12 carries for 190 yards 2 weeks ago. Coach really speaks very highly of him. You know, we've had over the years a really good run of tailbacks at Andrew Jackson High School. So this will be a interesting thing tonight as they get going. Not many seniors on the offense, too, also tonight for Jackson.
Yeah, that Leon Washington guy was pretty good back in the day, huh?
Yeah, he wasn't too bad. I was a good coach then.
All right, so here's Jackson now from their own 22-yard line. They sling it out early on in the possession, and right at the line of scrimmage. Good defense initially by Westside, as that one will go maybe for a loss of a couple of yards.
Yeah, it looked like a little faked a little play and slung the ball out there to Justin Bland. And, again, pretty good scheme of what they're going to try to do now. Westside's in a new defense this year. Hired a new defensive coordinator. They've gone 4-2-5. So basically, I call 4-4. They call 4-2-5 nowadays.
Jalen Sanier, the quarterback for Jackson, and hands off up the middle and not much doing. So it's going to bring up a third and very long on the first drive of the game for Jackson.
Yeah, it was 24 in there for Westside, and got downhill, ran 54, Limsom, and then 44, Otarius Lewis was in there, really disrupting inside. So they've done a pretty good job with some guys. Coach said they lost a guy. One of their defensive guys is out for a week, the linebacker. Lucius Turner is out for a week, so they've got a new young man starting inside there at linebacker.
So here we go. Third and let's call it 14 from their own 20-yard line for Jackson. Sanier launches down the right sideline. Nice looking throw and through the hands of Bland there as it looked like he had a step. That was almost a big play for Jackson. Just couldn't haul it in, and the Tigers will have to punt.
Yeah, they got a little 3-by-1 isolation. You know, they were in trips to the field, a little isolation. Right? Sort of the same thing that Westside did, get an isolation one-on-one and throw it up, and it just went right off Bland's hands. But good ball by Sanier. That was a really good ball, and not the way that you want to answer the first drive. Jackson didn't get a chance to answer. Now that we ain't got enough guys on punt team.
Now they'll run some players on. It'll be a 4th and 14 for Jackson. And that will set up Westside, most likely in pretty good field position once again. They'll have 2 return men, so they're going to play for the field position.
Yeah, both of those guys are returning the ball. I know it's Terry.
And here we go. Terry catches it around the 47 of Westside. Tries to go right on the far side of the field as they go right to left. Wolverines do here in the first quarter, but not much doing. Good special teams coverage by Jackson. And the Wolverines will start at their own 47. Their second possession, they lead at 6-0 with 5:45 to go. And they'll try to add to that total here on drive number 2.
Yeah, really good special teams coverage getting down. They're not a bad punt, about 35-yard punt, no return. And, again, we'll see what Westside's going to come out, if they're going to get back on and pound the football and keep establishing the run.
Well, they certainly did that, and they took advantage of some penalties for Jackson on the first drive. March right down the field. They lead at 6-0 with just under 6 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Once again, the backup quarterback, Elliott Blair, in under center, I formation for Westside. And the pitch is back to Terry, and Terry has it on the near side. Crosses midfield, picks up 7 or 8 yards, it looks like, as Terry was playing out of the backfield in the I formation. He can do a little bit of everything. They'll use him split wide, they'll use him in the punt return game, and they'll use him in the backfield.
Yeah, Terry really athletic, can run around a little bit. He's played, like Brent said, he's played running back, he's played in the slot, he plays some DB, returns punts, returns kicks, plays some tailback. So I think he gives him a little different dimension with the speed, where when they go with Braswell's a big, strong pounder running down the sort of pound on you a little bit, and then they bring the changeup guy in.
Well, they got Braswell in there now along with Jeremiah Bradley, who's also a big guy out of the I formation. One-man split to the right.
Goes like coach changing the play.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting back, and now it will be Blair out of the shotgun, and the running backs will split each side of Blair. Blair now drops back on the shotgun. He's going to be pressured and brought down by a host of Jackson Tigers, and that will be a big loss on the play as the Tigers defense comes up big. Nothing doing in the passing game for Blair.
No, they came after right there. Blair's got to catch that ball on that, take a little hitch step, and if they're going to throw the takeoff or throw the slant, he's got to get rid of that ball. They can't block them all. They brought too many for them to block.
Yeah, he planted his back foot and then decided to try to get away from the pressure. Not a good idea. It did not work out. Third now, and we'll call it a 3rd and 12 coming up for Westside. But I think before we do that, there's going to be a little bit of a water break. So we'll take a break as well. 5:09 to go in the first quarter. Westside leads it 6-0. They've got the ball on the 3rd and 12 when we come back here on our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690.
Ryan O'Halloran from the Denver Post, beat writer for the Broncos.
But maybe Cam need that little bit of a kick in the rear end because over a 48-hour span where Doug is saying probably not for Kansas City, and all of a sudden he's out there with a helmet.
Action Sports Jacks weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at hondaoftheavenues.com. The Honda Giant.
You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
Well, welcome back to the action here. Under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter now. 3rd and 12 for Westside from their own 45-yard line. Blair will operate out of the shotgun once again. And now we have a whistle before we can get play going. It looks like it's a delay of game coming out of the water break. And that will be a painful one for Coach DeBose and the Westside Wolverines, because now it's going to be 3rd and 17 from their own 40. Brent Martin along with Kevin Sullivan here in our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. We're just off Main Street. Andrew Jackson Tigers hosting the Westside Wolverines here in Duval County. 6 o'clock start in this one. Westside started fast with a touchdown on their first possession. But now they face a 3rd and 17. Out of the shotgun is Blair. Ely will go in motion, and they'll flip it to Ely. There's a little room on the far side as he's running right. He gets strung out a little bit and pushed out of bounds as he crosses the initial line of scrimmage from this possession. Right before midfield, it looks like Westside will have to punt. Brings up about a 4th and 7.
Yeah, just a little speed sweep. They gave him a little too tight situation. A little 12 personnel, one back, 2 tight end, and then brought Ely down in motion in front of the quarterback, snapped it, flipped it to him a little bit, so if he drops it, it's incomplete. Little speed sweep, little added dimension, got on the edge, but they filled the alley pretty good right there, the Jackson kids.
Wow, that's a nice, safe play, and if it springs loose and you get a first down and then some, well, good for you. If not, well, you minimize the damage of a drive that was going backwards, and you still keep the field position. Yep. From their own 48 now, 4th and we'll call it 8. Salvador Cano in for the punt. High snap, and now kicks it away. And it's a pretty good kick inside the 20-yard line. Now Jackson has it. It's Justin Bland returning kicks back there, and he's brought down pretty much right away. Not much doing on the return games for either team, and Jackson will get possession number 2 of the football game coming up.
Yeah, it looked like number 10, Darrell Williams, one of the gunners on that, came down there pretty good. He's a running back DB junior, but a good open field tackle right there. So we go to Jackson's second possession of the game, see if they can get something moving.
Jalen Saunier will bring out the Tigers for the second possession. And they'll start with a wide receiver on the left. One on the right will be Bland on the near side of the football field. Jackson going left to right. They're in the darker uniforms out of the I formation. Saunier hands off. And KJ Mahoney crosses the line of scrimmage, goes left, picks up about 4 yards. He's a big fella now. It's a tough one to bring down.
Yeah, KJ's brother played for me here. we called him Boogie Kennard Mahone. And so it's funny because KJ would have been like 7 to 8 at the time.
That was a little bit ago.
Yeah, so it was pretty neat when he came up to me and said, "I'm Boogie's brother" earlier. So it's pretty funny to watch those guys, considering he was just a little pup last time I saw him.
I was going to say he was a little smaller last time
yes,
you saw him.
Yes, a lot smaller.
He lines up in the backfield on 2nd and 6, and the handoff immediately to Jackson across the line of scrimmage, a couple of yards that time. Not a lot doing. Westside does a nice job defensively. It'll be 3rd down for the Tigers.
Yeah, that was a good play inside for Westside. Did a really nice job. The inside guys have done a real solid job. Chadwick Martin and Chandler Martin, the brothers, they do a real solid job up on the defensive side. Chadwick leads them in sacks on the year. But it's bring a big 3rd down, 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5 from their own 26-yard line. I formation once again for Jackson. Saunier drops back the pass, slant play over the middle, and Bland has it go through his hands. It looked like it was on time, on point. Bland just couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, I thought he caught it, get through good time and pass, put it right on him, and I think Bland got his eyes up on the ball, felt the safety running the alley down there, and just went right through his hands. He's got to catch that. That would have been a 1st down and would have got him going. So right now they've had 2 not drops, but 1 drop and 1 probably could have been caught, went through his hands on 3rd down. So they haven't been able to get anything going on offense on 3rd down.
Yeah, those 2 passes pretty well thrown by Jalen Saunier on both occasions. So it brings up 4th down and 5 for Jackson. Back there to return the punt for Westside. Terry is back there once again. He caught the last one.
And Antoine McCray, number 80, freshman, making his first start, coach said at wideout today.
Yep.
So, again, you'll see freshmen littered in between these programs playing in these games.
Connor Clark is the punter, left-footed punter, and he gets that snap and gets it away. A pretty good one, too. Down to the 42, it's Terry. Terry slips a couple tackles. Now he's able to cross midfield. He's got some room on the far side. Terry down the 40, the 30, 25-20. He's got some blockers ahead of him. Down to the 10 and into the end zone. Terry delivers a big-time punt return. Oh, it was so much fun while it lasted, Coach, until you see a couple of yellow flags on the field.
Yeah, that was a really good return. It looked like they had him hemmed in, and he sort of split the front line, about 3 Tigers right there, and he sort of split them, then dipped out, and they got on the edge. And we're going to have either a block in the back, I think is what it's going to end up being over there. But, boy, he made a nice job. But I don't know if you saw at the end, he ran into his blocker, and he bobbled the ball as it came out. I thought he lost it like last week. Happened to the young man at Creekside when he fumbled it out the back of the end zone when he was going in. But let's see what the referees call.
Well, both officials saw it, so it must have been pretty obvious. And he had a lot of room over there, so that might have helped. But Ernest Terry goes from a touchdown punt return of about 58 yards to now Westside will start on their own 43-yard line. Still pretty good field position, but 6 points off the board just like that. That could have been a huge play in the game.
Yeah, it could have been a really huge play. That was a really good run, good return. And again, no change at quarterback. Still got Blair playing. We had Otis starting, and then Blair came in and has been in the whole time. And I see Otis on the sideline, but we'll see as this game again progresses what's going on.
Wide receivers, one to the left, one to the right. Blair hands it to McCray as he was in motion. McCray slips the tackle in the backfield, but there are a lot of Jackson Tigers right there, and you can't break all those tackles. Tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, but I'm not sure he's able to even do that.
No, I don't think so right there. And really good job by the linebackers, outside backer Chasen McCall on that. And Grayson Howard did a real nice job running to the ball, making some plays, keeping it going forward. And young little 22s in there. Chandler. Curtis Coleman, 22. Coach said he's not real big. He's about 5'7", 150 pounds, but he'll put his nose in there and stick you. So he got in the mix a little bit right there.
Well, it's a loss of 2 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 12. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. 6-0 Westside. They have the ball for the 3rd time here in the first quarter. 4 wide receivers set now. Blair out of the shotgun. Gives it to Bradley, and Bradley is met immediately. So Westside's going backwards. The Jackson Tigers defense has come to play the last couple of possessions.
Yeah, Coach is doing a good job rotating some different guys in that are fresh and keeping pressure on them right there. That's a good job by the Tiger D.
Again, you do wonder, without Titan and Otis in the game, who's normally the starting quarterback, how much that changed the game plan a little bit. Now it would appear as Blair would have to throw the football. He's thrown it once, and it was a good one. That was a touchdown play earlier in the game from 20 yards out. It's the only score of the game so far in the first quarter as we come up on a minute to play and counting in the first quarter. This is a big one now. 3rd and a bundle. 15 yards from their own 39-yard line for Westside. 4 wide receivers again. Blair out of the shotgun. Bradley with him in the backfield. He'll toss it over to Ely, and that's a short hop to Ely. Nothing doing there as they tried to set up a little bubble screen of sorts, and instead it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, just trying to get him some confidence in throwing the short ball, and he short hopped it to the wideout out there. Good pressure by the Tigers. They've sort of regrouped defensively a little bit, and they've got a bunch of different guys in that coach is rotating in there to get they play a few guys both ways. So that group of Tigers did a real nice job on that drive.
So it forces a punt for Westside. Jonathan Salvador Cano back in the game. We've seen him a few times now. He had a field goal attempt that was missed from 43 yards out, but an offsides penalty gave Westside another chance. Now his second putt, and he gets it away. A little pressure, but nothing much. Ball bounced at the 30 and takes a Westside bounce, but it was picked up probably sooner than it should have been, or it could have even been a little bit more for the Wolverines.
Yeah, you got to let that one roll when it's rolling now. Got to let that one roll.
Jeremiah Dawson there to down it. Could have it back, probably would have downed it 5 yards later. But Jackson now will take over. And they have not had great field position, unlike Westside. Westside started everything from the 40-yard plus. Jackson hasn't been as fortunate. Not bad field position, but not as good as Westside as they start from their own 25-yard line here on their third possession. Nothing doing offensively so far for the Tigers. They'll try it again. 4 wide receivers. Shotgun snap to Saunier, hands it off, and Westside is all over that inside handoff. Maybe a loss of 2.
That was big 77 in there for Westside, doing a real good job. Again, they're rotating a few guys. That's Tyrell Branham. He's also the center, so he's getting a little defensive look to rest some of those other guys. They'll play a couple of those guys on both sides of the ball. But they rest them. They'll play them they'll play both in the 3 techniques, so they both play offensive line, and then they rest on the other side.
Well, it was a loss of 4 yards, actually, on the play, back to the 21-yard line. So now it's a 2nd and 14. We've had a lot of negative plays so far early in this game. As the first quarter is about to come to a close, this will be the final play of the first quarter. And there is Mahone again, and not much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and that will do it for the first quarter of action here from Andrew Jackson High School, right off Main Street. Our Action Sports Jax game of the week on ESPN 690. A quarter in the books. Quarter number 2 coming up next. Westside leads on the road 6-0 over the Jackson Tigers.
I think it's time to let go.
Top-ranked Clemson at the Syracuse Orange. Coverage begins Saturday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. Presented by Goodyear.
It's time to chub it up with my favorite wings in the Jacksonville area. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go. 2 locations, one on the west side and one in Fleming Island. I've been to both. Then I called the owner up and said, hey, I like the wings so much, I want to endorse them. It's a true story. And here we are. Bring the family on Mondays to the Fleming Island location for 50-cent wings. Tuesdays at the Westside location, it's all-you-can-eat wings. Try the Maple Cajun or the Johnny-style wings. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
Westside leads Jackson after 1 here on our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, along with the Hall of Fame coach who used to coach here at Jackson, Kevin Sullivan, as quarter number 2 begins. And it's Jackson out of the shotgun. Saunier to the near side is able to connect with the receiver right about the 30-yard line. He was under pressure, did a nice job to get it away, and completes his first pass of the game, and that one to Emery Terry.
I guess a little bit short. He cut that a little bit short on that route. They had about 14 to get, and they got about 9. So, but good ball. At least it's something positive in the passing game because that was, I believe, their first completion.
Yeah, that was J.D. Irvin, by the way, number 19 for Jackson on the catch, but not enough for the first down. So it brings up 4th down, and they'll have to punt once again. Connor Clark does the punting duties for the Tigers. He's sitting back around his own 16-yard line. Ball spotted at the 30. Snap, the kick from the left-footed punter.
A little short.
Might not reach midfield, and it actually takes a Westside bounce back toward the 40-yard line. So this will be fantastic field position for Westside when they begin play here in the second quarter from the 42-yard line of Jackson, leading 6-0.
Looks like there's a flag down, or maybe he just dropped it. I can't quite see. He's not hustling very much. You see anything, Coach? Brad?
I don't see any conversations. Now there's one, a little shout. I haven't seen a signal yet. Running into the kicker. I think they call it running into. I didn't see personal foul.
But that'll be 5 yards. That'll be a first down. From where where the sticks are.
Oh, yeah. That's a big penalty. There it is. It is running into the kicker. Connor Clark draws that, and instead of very good field position for the Westside offense, Jackson will resume this possession with a 1st down and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Big play there.
Yeah, real big play again. Gives them a first down, the first down of the game, and now maybe they could get something going a little bit offensively.
So 1st and 10, Saunier drops back, throws it high, and it's defended on the play by Westside, and that's Zamar Hopkins, the corner, with a nice play on a high ball.
Yeah, that's Ricky Shaw. Ricky's the leading receiver on the team, and it looks like they're sort of doubling him. He's got 8 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown, but he's averaging almost 16 yards a catch. So it looks like Westside's paying a lot of attention to him. They had a couple guys up on there, but not a bad ball from Jalen. Nice throw, a little bit high, but he was the only one that could have caught that ball. So bring up 2nd and 10.
Jalen Saunier, the right-handed quarterback, sophomore. Kind of got thrown into the wolves last year, and he's improved a lot this year as he hands off on 2nd down.
Oh,
and
he
10,
took the
and
ball.
They took it right away from him. Philpott, the safety, is able to recover the fumble. I don't even know it was a fumble. He just ripped it right out of the ball carrier's hands, and Westside has it down to the 12-yard line of Jackson. What a play.
Yeah, really good play. I'll tell you, Philpott's one of the playmakers on this team. He's a senior leader. He's been a 4-year starter. He plays safety. He'll play wide receiver, but Angelo does a real good job for the Westside Wolverines. That was a big play. I didn't even see the ball come out. Yeah, I don't know if it popped out and he caught it when he was running, but we got a 1st and goal now for the is it goal or is it on the 11?
Outside.
Okay,
11, 12
yards.
Line. So it'll be 1st and 10 from. They're going to call it the 11-yard line of Jackson, but no doubt Westside in business. 10:47 to go here in the first quarter, and 6-0 lead. And now Otis is into the game for the first time, and we have a penalty. It's a false start as Daytanan Otis has now entered the game, the starting quarterback for the Westside Wolverines. Blair played the first quarter, and now Otis is back in for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, it must have been, and I don't want to speculate, but knowing Coach Dubose, it was something happened, and he said, hey, you're going to sit the first quarter. Yeah. So that's what it looks like to me.
Well, Blair did a nice job.
Yeah, he did.
Replacing Otis. And now we get our first look at the young man out of the shotgun. He will keep it himself up the middle, and he's down to the 10, to the 5-yard line. It looks like he got to after the penalty. That's a nice pickup of 10, 11 yards to get a lot of that yardage back.
Yeah, just a little quarterback read. Looks like they're reading that one. They're reading the inside linebacker. He flew over the top off the jet sweep. He just kept it and pulled it and got right downhill. So they can get a first down. So we're probably 4 yards, 2nd and 4.
Yeah, 2nd and 4 from the 5-yard line. Just on the doorstep of putting another score on the board. 6-0 already. Wolverines in the lead over Jackson here on the road. Daytanan Otis in the game for the first time for the Wolverines, and you can already see he changes the offense a little bit.
Right. Yeah, he's a little bit more dynamic with the ball in his hand.
4 wide receivers set. Mahan goes in motion. They give it to him. He eludes one tackler. Now he's inside the 5, close to the goal line, but a nice defensive play on the far side of the football field. That looked a little bit like the Christian McCaffrey play late in the game of the NFL one last night.
Yes.
It just got Mahan before he was able to get in the end zone.
And they had a really good job. Looked like Chris Pullman running downhill, making the tackle from the safety spot. So really, really good job making that tackle. So that's a tough angle right there. So it'll be it's going to be first and goal from about the 6-inch line. You got.
Yeah, they got that ball right up against the goal line, and it was. I mean, you had to get a first down and not a touchdown. There wasn't a lot of room.
Right.
So they did just enough, and it will be first and goal from, let's say, a yard out, but it's really even less than that. And now we have an officials timeout with 9:29 to go here in the first half. And we'll take a timeout as well. 6-0, Westside in the lead and on the doorstep of another score. They lead Jackson here in our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week. More second quarter action ahead right after this on ESPN 690.
Will Stan Van Gundy dance at an Elton John concert? Is that something that's ever happened? Is it something that ever would happen?
No. The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
The response to Beard's Diamonds' 5 years, 0 interest with no money down has been so spectacular, we're extending it till the end of September.
How about a $6,000 Takori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month. Or a pair of diamond studs for $3,000? You pay just $50 a month.
Take advantage of the rock bottom prices Beards is known for and spread your payment out over 5 full years without paying a dime of interest. Visit beardsdiamonds.com.
Beards Jewelry, located at the St. John's Town Center.
All right, after the quick timeout, welcome back here to Andrew Jackson High School. 9.5 minutes ago in the first quarter, first and goal for Westside. And Otis looks like he'll keep it, and he scores. Fake handoff. He had to go about 6 inches. He was able to get there no problem. 10, and Otis scores the second touchdown of the game for the Westside Wolverines, and they lead it 12-0 here in our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Brett Martineau, Kevin Sullivan, and Otis made an impact right away.
Yeah, right away. You can tell the change of the dynamic offensively, what they're doing, because he's such a threat to run the ball. He is their leading rusher on the year. And then he comes in, and they're jet sweeping, and then he's faking it, and he's keeping it. So we're going for 2 here.
I'll try to make it a 14-0 game. Otis under center this time.
Oh, he kept
Makes
it.
the handoff, a little bootleg. He can run it if he wants, and he does, and sneaks it through the end zone, across the goal line, and the 2-point conversion is good. Otis had a chance to throw it. He decided to keep it. Good decision. It's 14-0 Westside.
Yeah, either one. He could have kept it or thrown it. They got a little unbalanced line and ran power. They had 3 backs in the backfield. Little old power eye, old school power eye. Came out, faked it, and booted it. And then the tackle on the backside was actually the tight end, and he blocked, delayed, ran to the corner. And he could have done either one. He could have tossed it, run it in. Either way, he gets the credit for the points anyways, whether he threw it for 2 or ran it for 2.
That's right. It's 14-0 Westside Wolverines on the road, beating Jackson, here in the second quarter. 9:24 to go in the first half. 14-0 is our score, as Jackson hasn't been able to do much on offense. And that time, it give a lot of credit to Angelo Philpott,
right,
because he made the big play. He stripped the running back and brought it back to about the 12-yard line. That set up Westside on a short field, and they cashed in with their star quarterback, Titanen Otis, into the game.
Yeah, so again, it's if you're just joining us, they played the backup quarterback, Belair, who did a nice job through a touchdown pass and had him moving a little bit. But then when you bring Otis in, who's a 3-year starter, been in the fire, it changes the whole complexity offensively.
Well, Philpott, who helped get the ball back and the score, does the kicking duty. Actually, it's not. He just helped line everybody up. I thought he was about to kick it off.
That's what I thought, too. I was like, dang, he does it all.
I was like, Salvador Cano is usually their kicker, but he was just captaining the special teams unit. And Salvador Cano actually kicks it out of bounds. Second kick we've seen tonight go out of bounds.
Right, but let me give you a little coaching lesson here. So Westside plays a lot of kids both ways, so a lot of their kids play on special teams. So when they kick it out of bounds, I'm making them kick it again, because those guys got to go back and run back down the field. You know what I'm saying?
That makes a lot of sense.
But Coach DuBose, Coach Atwater elected not to do that. But anytime I'm playing a team that plays a lot of guys both ways and they're kicking it out of bounds, we're making them kick it again, because I like them to kick it, give my skill guys a chance to run that thing back.
Yeah, Coach DuBose probably doesn't mind this at all.
No, he's
Jackson
probably happy
set up
with
at the 35-yard line, and they'll throw 4 wide receivers out there to start this possession. Saunier gets a low snap, tries to hit a quick slant to McCray, can't do it. He threw it a bit high, and McCray couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it looked like that was a pass to McCray. And, yeah, a little bit high right there, but good ball. Again, came out of his hands, caught it. No, not affected by a rush, got rid of the ball fast. Again, they're pretty good. Coach said he feels real good about his secondary at Westside. He said they gave up a couple uncharacteristic deep balls last week. The ball went on Monday. Somebody better cover the slot down here.
That was the wrong 80, by the way. It's Deshaun Bird for Jackson, number 80. This time, Saunier fakes the handoff, keeps it to the near side of the field, cross the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up a couple yards, but another yellow flag comes down, and that's kind of been the story of the first half for Jackson. A lot of mistakes.
Yeah, they just, again, running zone read, and Saunier keeps the ball, and the wide out there working hard blocking and everything. Deshaun Bird, who they just threw the ball to the last play, and it looks like he got his hands outside the framework of the body. So it's going to be a second and pretty long right here now.
Both teams have been behind the sticks quite a bit here in the first half. Hasn't bothered Westside as much because they've cashed in on a couple of possessions, and they lead at 14-0 with 9:12 to go here in the first half. But it's definitely impaired the capability of Jackson to be able to move the ball, and now they will start with a second and a very long, 2nd and 19 we'll call it. Saunier throws this one wide on the near side. That one falls incomplete, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and very long from their own 26-yard line.
Yeah, that was a pass to Darnell Cummings, sophomore out of slot, and Westside got a little. They had a guy open. They got a guy a little messed up in coverage where they were supposed to be at. They didn't get the right call or what they're playing in the secondary, but they couldn't complete the pass right now. So this is a big 3rd and
20.
3rd and 20. Big 3rd and long here.
3rd and 20 for Saunier, and this Jackson offense has been pretty quiet so far in the first half. 4 wide receivers out there. Saunier gets a shotgun snap, pressured a little bit. He runs it, stays on his feet, slips a couple of tackles, and can he stay on his feet a little bit more? What an effort. He wasn't going to get too far, but what an effort that time, an individual effort by Saunier just to pick up a few more yards, ends up out near the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that was a good job on the linebacker on the tackle right there. For Westside, did a good job of wrapping him up, holding him down. He sort of started squirming loose, and he just held on till somebody else came by and whacked him and knocked him down. But not much going offensively tonight for the Tigers.
Connor Clark comes back into the game, punting duties for Jackson. Last time he was run into. That kept the drive alive momentarily before the fumble. Jackson gets another player on the field. It brings up 4th and 11. Actually, 16. My math better than that. High snap. What a play by Connor Clark just to be able to grab that and still kick it away. I mean, he one-handed grab.
Yeah, that was
and then was able to hold it and kick it, and at least it goes out near the 50-yard line. Right at the 50-yard line is where Westside will start. That's a heck of an athletic play by Connor Clark, the punter.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He went up with his left hand and sort of batted it in the air and then caught it and then kicked it. Still wasn't a bad, about 25-yard punt, but it could have been 6 points the other way or 1st and goal inside the 10 for the Wolverines.
Once again, really good field position for Westside. They've been living on the Jackson side of the field or at least near midfield most of this first half.
And we have timeout.
7:56 to go in the first half. 14-0 Westside leads it. Jackson a little late coming on the field, and I think now Jackson calls a timeout because it took a little bit to get set up.
Yeah, it looked like they were sort of pumping them up a little bit, talking about, sort of what they were going to do. And then they ran them out late, and then they had to call timeout. Heck, Westside could have snapped the ball while they were running on the field, and Otis could have just took off running with it.
But officials had already spotted it.
Yes, and blew the whistle. So they lot going on. We got homecoming on Main Street next week here for Andrew Jackson Tigers. Big homecoming, always a great crowd for homecoming here on Main Street. And, big district weeks being played. This is not a district game. But really tonight is the first week of the district. Some big games. Mandarin and Bartram are open, playing that first one right there. We had Bartram last week. That should be a good game. So there's a lot of really, really solid games, and these games are going to really start picking up the competition and the coaching and the playing and everything. So it's it's a great time of year right now, week 4 and on.
And it starts to get a little cooler.
Yes.
Just a little cooler. Titan and Otis in the game. Shotgun from midfield to start this possession for Westside. 4 wide receivers. Gets a shotgun snap, a lot of pressure, but Otis able to escape it, launches the ball down the field, but it could be intercepted.
Yes.
It is intercepted by Jackson, and here they come on the run back as well for Andrew Jackson. It's Z Lampkins. Lampkins brings it out to the 40-yard line plus, and there's a little bit of celebration finally on the Jackson Tigers sideline.
Yeah, they probably got a little life in them, a little bounce running around, and they're not a real good ball by Otis. He should have took off and just run that. He had all kinds of green grass. He eluded the rush. He took off. He didn't get his shoulder square when he threw the ball. The wideout had the DB beat, but he underthrew it, and then Easy Lampkin came in, make an interception. Good return, and hopefully Jackson will get him going, get him moving a little bit offensively.
Coach, I was going to throw that one up for you as a softball. That was easy for Easy.
And he caught it there. That's the most important thing.
Easy's first name is Azinwa Lampkins, is his full name, but they call him Easy.
Easy.
And that one certainly was, as Otis was hit, couldn't get enough on that ball, and it's intercepted, and now each team has a turnover here tonight. Jackson starts at their own 40. Now the handoff to Braswell, and nice pickup on first down, and finally some positive yardage to talk about.
Yeah, they got in what Coach calls ace, which is 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight end, 2 wide receivers, and they just leaned on them right there. And they've got a little boo. They got Gary Wiggins at the tight end up on the top, really good physical blocker. And so we'll see if they come out and do it again.
2nd and 3 from about the 47-yard line. The handoff again this time. That might have been a loss of 2, as right there and waiting for Westside was once again big number 77, Tyrell Brabham.
Yep, and Sebastian Lee, the linebacker, was in there also, getting in there. But again, they got a couple positive yards, brings up, should be 3rd and 7.
Shorter than that. 3rd and, they spotted it at the 46-yard line.
3rd and 3.
3rd
and 4, 3.
Yeah, maybe a long 3, short 4, as they actually spotted it pretty close back to the line of scrimmage. Have to get to midfield here on 3rd down. Once again, manageable, and they haven't had a lot of manageable 3rd downs to this point. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. 14-0. Westside leads. Jackson just picked the ball off, though, and now trying to keep a drive alive on 3rd and 4, we'll call it. Saunier fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, now throws the near side, and just a little bit too wide. They can't complete the pass. Ricky Shaw had his hands on it, but he probably would have been out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, he probably would have been out of bounds. Good effort on his part. Again, they came off the fake. They brought the big back in, K.J. Mahone, so you think it's 3rd and short. They're going to pound it down inside with him. They come off a little bootleg fake, and they had a dragger. They had a comeback on the outside, and real hard throw. But they're going to go for it on 4th down. Big play here.
Yeah, big play. The ball out by the 46, 47-yard line. So, again, it's a long 3 yards on 4th down inside their own territory, trailing by 14. Jackson has it. Saunier under center. And there is a flag. Is it a false start?
They jumped the wide out.
And they did jump. It looked like at first Saunier was going to try to draw them off sides.
Right.
Instead, he drew the false start. And now Connor Clark will come out on the field, and Jackson will have to punt.
Yeah,
Coach, they were going for it, though.
Yeah, Coach Atwater not going to be happy about that. Anytime a wideout jumps off sides, if you don't know the counter, you don't know what you're doing, all you do is look down at the ball, and then you jump off sides. So now they have to come in and punt. So he getting an earful from Coach right there, and he's lucky he's on punt team. I think he's happy he's on punt team. He got to run back out, so Coach wasn't getting on him too bad, but that's not a good look.
Connor Clark, the left-footed punter, that gets a good one away, and he's been really good so far. It's caught by McCray, and McCray has a 25. Now has blockers across the 30, across the 40, now to midfield. And he breaks Connor Clark's tackle down to the 40, the 30, 25, 20. Does he hang on to the football? He fumbled the ball. Will Jackson fall on it and inbounds?
Yep, they got it. I think they got it. I think Jackson got it back.
For the officials to make the call, but they have the ball. They're celebrating. It's a matter of if they're in bounds on the far side. And they're having a conversation. McCray with a fantastic return, the freshman getting his first start tonight. But then he had the ball stripped right at the very end of the punt return.
It looked like
down inside the 20-yard line. And I think this should be Jackson's football, but there still has been no indication
I think it was 53 to Darius Moore. It looked like was hustling and made the tackle.
Westside
and
pleading their case right now.
Ball
couple
came
of players,
out.
Coach DeVos.
I was trying to watch Coach DeBro's reaction to see what happened. This is a big play for them and a big play for the Tigers. If it's the Tigers' ball, it's huge because they punt and get it back. If it's Westside's ball, then they're going to be on the 15-yard line going in.
Wow.
Coach DuBois over there pleading his case. Hey, out of bounds. They were out of bounds. That ball was out of bounds.
And that's really what's in question here.
Right.
It was a fumble, but did they recover the ball in bounds? And then they were on the far side of the football field, so it's tough to tell from our vantage point. And they still have not made a decision. There is an official huddle.
We got to go to replay. Oh, yeah, sorry, we don't have that.
Oh, we don't have replay, but we could go back on the video feed if they really want to take
really
a
wanna
time
know,
out
right?
and delay this thing.
We'll call down there. We'll get Coach Ricketts
I
to
think
call
they're
down
going to
and
decide
take a
something here.
press box timeout.
Now they actually throw a penalty. There are flags down actually back on this end. All our eyes are on them there. What's going on? But they actually called a penalty. They still have never ruled at whose ball it is, despite the penalty. Well, I got to believe, Coach, it's Westside's football.
I think
and they're going
so.
to enforce a penalty on a block in the
So
back.
they must have recovered that ball then, or they gave him the ball and they said, we're going to just move it back here. But I think the penalty they called was the crackback block. The one kid peeled back and then didn't hit it. You know, that's the big point of emphasis this year, crackbacking away from the, blind side hitting him, I guess you would say. When we played, it was okay. It was great. And now it's a penalty. And so I think the first kid missed on purpose, and then another kid peeled back and got a kid. That's where it looked like to me when the play was thrown. But they gave Westside the ball, and then they marked it off from right there.
Yeah, so it will be Westside's ball at their own 35-yard line. But let's just be clear here. We still have no idea what the officials did because they never signaled whose ball it was. So we have to assume, deductive reasoning here, is that the player who recovered for Jackson was out of bounds.
Right. And he
so
could have,
therefore,
and he could have been the way he was laying. But then again, if the ball's in bounds, and he's in bounds, the ball's in bounds. He's in bounds. Yes,
but
sir.
If his foot or anything else is outside, then it is Westside's ball.
Yes.
So what they did is they granted Westside the ball, then obviously enforced the penalty way back down this end of the field. And so after all that excitement, fantastic return by McCray, the freshman, and then a nice job by Jackson not to give up on the play and force a fumble. It'll be Westside's football at their own 35-yard line here with 5:54 to go in the first half, up 14-0. Otis now drops back to pass, and it looked like Terry might have tripped, couldn't get to his spot on the route, and the ball falls incomplete. But we've got another yellow flag on the football field, and that's holding on Westside.
Yeah, that was not a good series right there. It looked like the center might have got pushed back and reached out and grabbed the guy and sort of pulled him on top of him. Again, they're starting a new center tonight. They lost their center last week to an injury. He's out at least another week, not sure what it was. So they are starting a new center tonight, Westside, for the first time. So we'll keep an eye on that. But they jacked that center up, and I think he just grabbed on because he was falling over.
Chandler Martin is the new center for Westside here tonight. 4 wide receivers set. Otis now pitches it. Nice grab by Bradley.
Good tackle.
And a great tackle. Really good contact right around the 25-yard line. But first of all, Bradley was able to corral that. Not an easy pitch to handle. And then tried to run over a defender.
Yeah, Curtis Coleman, the guy we were talking about, little short guy, not afraid to put his nose in there against the bigger back.
So Westside now will have it 2nd and 20 at their own 25-yard line. Once again, way behind the sticks because of a holding penalty, and there's been multiple penalties here ever since they got the football back. 5:15 and counting in the first half, 14-0. Very choppy first half with all the penalties and whistles, and we've got another whistle, I think, for an equipment fix, as the officials now helping one of the Jackson Tigers with their equipment.
I think we're going to take the water break on that one.
Let's do it. Let's get some water, everybody, here on the Action Sports Jacks.
Load it up.
Game of the week on ESPN 690. When we come back, we'll finish up the first half with Westside in the lead here at Jackson. 14-0 is our score. The Wolverines winning on the road. It got me thinking back to my days covering the Giants camp. I remember talking about how hard it was, mostly if it went against the rules, because Strahan and some other players would challenge Coughlin on it.
Do you remember those days, though, where teams would get punished?
Action Sports Jax, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at hondaoftheavenues.com. The Honda Giant.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
Just a second down play incomplete, so it brings up 3rd and 20 as we welcome you back into our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. Here right off Main Street, Andrew Jackson High School hosting Westside, and the Wolverines from Westside lead on the road 14-0, just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. But they've got a long 3rd and 20 ahead of them from their own 25-yard line. Otis in the game, just swings it out to Terry, and Terry can't handle it. And so that drops, it's incomplete, and 4th down. Westside will have to punt it away. There is some sun versus shade on the field right now.
Yes.
You almost wonder if he was looking into the sun.
Yeah, he could have been looking into the sun, but he's got to get on that ball, though, because, it looks like it was a forward pass, but the way the officials and stuff see it, sometimes it's not. So if it's close, you always got to coach those guys to get on that ball.
They did call it incomplete, though. So in comes Jonathan Salvador Cano once again, as the punters have been busy here in the first half of this one. A lot of negative plays, but also 2 big plays and scoring plays for the Westside Wolverines. They lead at 14-0 with 4:50 to go in the first half.
Yeah, and again, special teams, I think field position, Westside is at, and I say that, and the ball's shank punted.
Yeah, Salvador Cano has to go off the side of his foot, will roll out right around midfield. In fact, I think for the second time in this game, someone will get the ball right at midfield. Yeah, the nose of the football right there.
Yeah,
most of it in Jackson territory.
Yeah, Cano's been punting pretty good. He sort of shanked that one, got a decent roll. But right then, that's been a little bit of a difference with field position. Westside has started probably plus their 40, where Jackson started a little bit differently. But again, 4 minutes to go, 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, 14-0 Westside.
All right, let's see what Jackson can do now. Their best field position of the day. They get it right at midfield for Jalen Saunier in this offense. Darnell Cummings in the backfield. Couple wide receivers. Saunier under pressure right away, and he will be brought down by Atirius Lewis, who got in the backfield in a hurry. That's a sack for Lewis at Westside.
Yeah, Atirius has been pretty active coming off the edge today. They've done a nice job, those guys up front. Atirius, Martin, Chandler Martin, Chadwick Martin, getting a lot of pressure up in there. So that was another negative play, Brent.
Yeah, this is really hard for the play caller. When you're 2nd and 14 and 2nd and 20 and 3rd and 14, there's not a lot of plays you can go to, especially if you're trying to run the football a little bit. From their own 46, it will bring up 2nd and 14. Similar set, Saunier under center, Cummings in the backfield. Saunier drops back, fade down the field.
Oh, he caught it.
On the near sideline. Really nice catch by Gary Wiggins, and that's a first down and a positive play for the first time in a long time for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think that was Ricky Shaw on the catch. Yeah, the wide out on the catch. Really good ball.
7.
Sort of threw it around, back, little back shoulder throw. 8 was right there on it. He just made a nice catch. Zamar Hopkins was great in coverage. He just scored caught it, pinned it to his body. And that's Jackson showing a little positive life on getting a first down and moving the chains.
Yeah, Saunier's thrown the ball really well. Saunier now under center. Mahone has it. Big fullback across the line of scrimmage. Gets upended and kind of helicoptered, but that was after he picked up a handful of yards.
Yeah, the little counter tray right there, sort of getting back in the eye, traditional eye, and running, pulling both guard and the tackle. Got a good kick out and a wrap, and then he got up in there. Linebacker made a nice play on the tackle. That's a big boy they're tackling right there. Mahone's a big boy. He's got to go about 240, 5'8", easy.
Absolutely.
He might have been eating a little during fourth block today, so he might have put on a little bit of weight today.
2nd and 5 now from the 25 of Westside. Handoff to Cummings, and he is almost met immediately, but able to elude a tackler and picks up close to a first down. It's 3rd and about 2.
3rd and 2, so this is definitely 2 downs. They get the 4 yards or 2 yards, so see if Coach wants to take a shot here, maybe get a little play action since they've run it a little bit at him right now, or if they're going to go ahead and just keep pounding it.
Mahone will stay in the game. Ricky Shaw comes to the left. Just made the big catch a short time ago. Saunier under center. 3rd and a couple of yards. They'll fake the handoff to Mahone. He rolls right. He looks to the far side of the field, and good attempt on the far side. I think that's Hopkins over there, laid out for a possible interception. But either way, it falls incomplete. And now it brings up 4th down. You figure they would go for it here.
Oh, yeah, definitely go for it. Take a shot. But Saunier was a little bit rushed that throw. Gary Wiggins, the tight end, was dragging across the middle of the field wide open. He'd have just sort of took his time and expanded, let the play expand a little bit. He could have caught Wiggins in stride and would have been a touchdown. But, again, with big 4th down for both teams right here with almost 2 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, 2:17 to go, 14-0 Westside. But Jackson driving on the 22-yard line of the Wolverines. They throw it behind, and that's a fumble if nobody picks it up. Does anybody pick it up? And the ball went out of bounds potentially. The official blew the whistle, but nobody actually scooped the football up. Coach, that was clearly a lateral pass.
That was definitely
Jackson.
A lateral. Again, that's both sides. Number one, the ball's thrown again, regardless of you don't let the official make that call. If you're on defense, you go pick that ball up and run it. And if you're on offense, you got to go get that ball. We used to coach our quarterbacks, anytime they threw to the flat, they should trail the play. They should head that way after they throw the ball, whether it's a quick pass, whether it's a screen, whatever, just in case the officials miss the call and call it. But that was definitely ball behind. That was definitely a lateral.
Jackson got a little fortunate there. Westside scoops that up. That's 6 the other way with no problem at all. Instead, they take over on downs. The play does go for a loss of about 7 or 8 yards. So Westside will start at their own 30-yard line. After the turnover on downs, that was the most promising attempt so far by Jackson, but they come up empty. Out of the eye now, Westside take the handoff. Bradley crosses the line of scrimmage to the right and picks up maybe 3 yards. They'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, I was surprised, Coach Dubose. He might be happy just to go in at halftime, just going to run it in there. I'd probably keep the ball in the quarterback's hands a little bit here and let him run some zone read and some zone power stuff, just to keep it in his hands so they don't risk turning it over or anything. And if they do throw something, quick and short, they can get out of there fast. No negative plays here.
Well, inside 2 minutes ago, Jaquan Braswell in the backfield, along with looks like Lucius Turner maybe. Otis has it, eludes a tackler, now looks down the field. He has a step on a receiver, and the ball is knocked away, as it looked like it might have been Hopkins down there for Westside. On the far side of the field, it falls incomplete. Tell you what, if Otis could have put a little bit more air under that, that would have been 6.
Yeah, that's the exact same play they ran on the interception. This time he threw it a little bit better than he threw it on the interception. But, again, I thought he could have took off and run, too, and maybe got big yardage there.
That was probably Mahan on the other side of the field there, the receiver for.
Yeah, he's been real quiet, Mahan. He's been he's averaged 25 yards a catch. He's the deep ball guy.
Actually,
so
you know what it was? It was Jared Ely out there, Coach.
Oh, okay.
5, 6, 8. Turn around so we can see the number.
That's good. That's good. But, again, I think that 3rd down, Jackson may get a chance to get the ball back.
All right, Otis now, 3rd and 7 from his own 23-yard line. Takes a snap, rolls left, has a receiver who comes back and gets it. There's Ely right there who has a first down and a few more out to the 44-yard line and a first down for Westside with 1:14 to go in the half. Nice job by the receiver to come back to the ball.
Yeah, Jackson's bringing up the inside pressure up in the AB gaps inside, and they do a little roll out there. They had both guys, and I think the inside receiver didn't run the deep corner route. It was a little first down curl with a corner, a little smash concept behind it. But so they can see if they're going to hurry up and get going. 1 minute to go.
Yeah, inside 1 minute to go in the first half. Now Westside up 14, 4 wide receiver set. Otis gets a shotgun snap, looks left, throws left, has a receiver, and there is caught out of bounds. Probably a pickup of about 8 yards that time for Rashad Roberts.
Yep. Little safe play, 7-8 yard gain, get out of bounds, stop the clock, moving the change positive. So bring up second to 5?
Ball's right at midfield. 50 seconds to go in the first half. 2nd and 5. 4 wide receivers once again. Otis claps his hands, gets the snap, drops back, has time, throws to his left, and has a receiver for a first down. I don't think they called him roughing. I think it's Ely once again, who's had himself a really nice first half, if that's number 5 on the far side of the
football looked like
field.
Number 5. That's a good job catching the ball in his hands, getting his feet down, getting out of bounds.
Well, not only that, they pick up the first down to the 44-yard line of Jackson, but they stop the clock as well. They kept it rolling, Coach. Now inside 35 seconds to go, and I'm not sure Westside realizes it. DuBose now calls a timeout.
I don't think DuBose is real happy with the official on his sideline right there. That ball was out of bounds.
Well, I thought it was clear. We even wondered if there was a little extra.
Yeah, I thought there should have been a 15-yard penalty thrown on tackle him. He almost tackled him under the 10 over there once he went out of bounds.
Well, here's the deal. 44-yard line for Westside. They're on Jackson's side of the field, going left to right. 31 seconds to go in the first half. They lead 14-0. So a bit of a bonus possession here. If
yes.
They could get even more out of this. Converted a 3rd down to kind of keep this drive going, and since then, a few completions in a row, and Otis is in a little bit of a rhythm. They were able to pick up a few chunks of yardage, but if they want to get in the end zone or get a little closer for a field goal, they need a big chunk here soon.
Yeah, they're going to have to. I mean, there's only 31 seconds. They let, 22 seconds run off the clock right there.
Yeah, I think they thought they were out of bounds.
Yeah, I did too. And not only that, was it out of bounds, it was a first down.
Yeah.
So the clock should have stopped anyways, moved the chains, and then reset them if you're going to roll it and roll
There you go again after the officials. I mean, you just never lose that.
It's something about it. It's just something. Be a professional and do your job.
Brett Martin and Kevin Sullivan here, our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week. So here's Otis again out of the shotgun. It's 1st and 10. And now I think we either have a flag. Yes, we do.
Yes.
False start. As Roberts came in motion. He just caught one a bit ago. He came in motion there, and along the way, someone moved because it's going to be 1st and 15.
Yeah.
This ball goes back out toward midfield.
The left tackle moved a little bit. We'll see what we get. Probably going to get the same play. They didn't change the formation. And
yep, they did it again.
He fakes
and
it
Roberts
to him.
goes and
got
Otis
one-on-one up top.
Got a receiver, but he overthrows him right around the 10-yard line, and that one falls incomplete as Sebastian Lee?
I think that was Ely.
It was number 5.
5 to Ely.
Ely's had a great first half.
Yeah, they try to get him isolated up on there, and safety is cheating that way. They're playing man free. Jackson's playing man free, bringing some pressure and everything, and they got one-on-one up top, but that safety's been cheating over on that hash wherever Ely is.
Just 5 seconds gone off the clock there on the first down play. So 14-0 still. 26 seconds to go. 2nd and 15. Out of the shotgun is Otis. Otis claps his hands, get the shotgun snap. Looks down the field, launches one to the near sideline, and he wants Roberts, but that one clearly out of bounds, and well covered was Roberts on the play.
Yeah, really, really good job by the corner right there. Number 23, James Edmonds, really good player. Had really good coverage, just kept his hands, flips his head, ran with him. Wasn't going to catch that ball, went out of bounds, and now brings up 3rd down. 20 seconds to go, 15. You try to get 8 to 10. You try to get it all on one shot.
Well, they're trying to push the ball down the field. They've just been unsuccessful the last 2 times. 4 wide receivers again, similar set. Shotgun snap to Otis on 3rd and 15. He steps up, and now he's going to be sacked. He stepped right up into the defense. The whistle blows. That'll be an in-the-grass play, and a big play by Jackson's defense, and that might do it for the first half as the Tigers come up.
Yeah, I think they'll just let it run out. That was a good job right there. I'm not quite sure who made that play, but he pretty much took him up over and took him down, and it may have been Arian Crooms, the defensive end, number 17, jumped in there and got that on that one, but I couldn't quite see it from there. It was either 17 or 10, but I think it was 17. Looks like body type. So we got 1.8 seconds left. You just going to catch it, take a knee on this? and get out of there instead of doing something crazy? Or you going to get in Hail Mary and just sling that thing to the end zone and see what happens?
I don't think you do anything silly here. You probably run around for a second, take a loss, go to the locker room.
Do what LSU did at the end of the game. They caught it, threw the ball as high as they could right there at the last 4 seconds. Let it run out on 4th down the other night.
Yeah, good way to run it down. First half almost in the books here at Andrew Jackson High School, home of the Tigers hosting Westside, and the Wolverines are in the lead 14-0. Here in our Action Sports Jacks game of the week, Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. Been a choppy, penalty-filled, negative play-filled first half at times, but a couple big plays for Westside. And a 4th down and 13, a 20-yard touchdown pass from the backup quarterback, and then a strip and fumble recovery set them up for their second touchdown, and that's where we stand, 14-0 in favor of Westside. Westside will run out here for one more play, 2 seconds to go in the first half, and Otis has a good arm, but I'm not sure he can get it some 60 yards to the end zone.
They're going to run screen in the middle.
They do to Terry, and Terry slips one. He has it at the 40 now, and
he can run,
the line
too.
of defenders is there and brings him down around the 35. So good job by Jackson.
Yeah, good job keeping everything in front of him. That might have been the 3rd down play. That's what they might have done on 3rd down.
Now they might have done.
He's going to come back and run that again, Coach. I'm telling you right there.
We might see that again. They've got some quickness there in the middle of the field. I'm not sure they'll see that defense the next time.
No, exactly. Exactly.
But we'll see. Hey, anyway, 14-0. Westside leads it here at the half. Our halftime show comes up right after this. We'll try to get some scores from the rest of the Friday night. And some games really just getting underway. We had a 6 o'clock start here in Duval County at Jackson High School. It's our Action Sports Jacks game of the week on ESPN 690. Westside Wolverines lead the Jackson Tigers 14-0. More on our halftime report coming up next. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. The Greater Jacksonville Area Cadillac Dealers Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 is just around the corner. September 16th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Thanks to our presenting sponsors as well, the law offices of Ron Scholes and the Players Championship. Your business can still be a part of the event to raise money for St. Michael's Soldiers and North Florida Junior Golf Foundation. Florida Georgia Windows and Doors is challenging local businesses to donate $1,000. Join the $1,000 charity challenge at actionsportsjacksdream18.com.
Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport, Baker's Sports has been doing just that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. Screen print, embroidery, and trophies all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker's Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker's Sports.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at hondaoftheavenues.com. The Honda Giant.
Now, the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week halftime show. Here's Brent Martineau.
14-0 is our score here at halftime at Jackson High School. The Tigers trailing the visiting Westside Wolverines after 2 quarters of play. Halftime report, Brent Martineau along with Kevin Sullivan, who spent some time coaching here at Andrew Jackson High School. And he is back here in the booth instead. A lot less stress.
Oh, yes, sir.
Up in the booth than there is right now probably in that locker room.
Yes, sir.
Because that was a frustrating first half for the Tigers.
Yeah, they sort of shot themselves in the foot, but especially on first down a few times. Both teams did. They've dropped a couple balls. I think Coach got to get in there and sort of get things moving around and sort of find out. I'd like to see him come out, throw some quick game, maybe throw some screens and everything, because Westside is just teeing off and going after him right there. So it'd be a little change up. Again, they wanted to run the ball and get back, and they haven't had much success doing that and they've used 3 back. So different combination, but maybe they work the speed sweeps, try to get out on the edge, loosen them up a little bit, throw a couple screens in there, and so they got to come out and get going. And then Westside on the hand, didn't play the start quarterback first quarter, scored a touchdown, brought him in, and scored right away off the turnover. They played really solid on defense. We talked earlier that Jackson wanted to come out and establish the run, and they haven't done that. And Westside wanted to stop the run, stop the big play, and they've done a good job of that. And, again, we're going to be in for a really good second half. But I think Westside, even though they played on Monday night, didn't play well, they've come back and played pretty good on a short week.
Yeah, they have. And overall, though, I think Jackson is more concerned about their offense. Their defense has done okay.
Yes.
I mean, they gave up the one drive, but that was penalty-filled, and then they gave up the short field touchdown.
Right.
Overall, their defense has done a nice job, even when Otis came into the game, and he kind of changed the dynamic of their offense for Westside. But it's really an offensive thing. They have started way behind the chains so many times. They've got to limit the mistakes and get some positive yardage. The one drive they did have, even though it was a turnover on downs, they started off with a first play of 7 yards. And
right.
It was 2nd and 3 instead of 2nd and 14. They need a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and they do. And again, I think that's what Coach wants to do. He wants to establish the run. But I think he's got to, Coach Atwater, they've got to mix in some quick screens and even some running back screens because they've got 8 guys in the box. They're daring them to throw it. You know what I mean? They're daring him to throw it. And Coach is going to have to figure out what he can do, what his guys can do, and get going. So, but I still like to get clarification if that was a fumble, a recovery.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure
or
out.
whatever in the middle of the second
I don't know
quarter.
who the statistician is, but I'm not sure how they recorded that one, quite frankly. Either way, Westside did keep the ball in that one play that was really never signaled either way whose ball it was. We determined definitely it was Westside because they took the next snap.
With the penalty.
That's right.
Without a doubt.
Brett Martineau, Kevin Sullivan here on our halftime report. We got some scores from around the area. Atlantic Coast, another your old stomping grounds, beating Buchholz at the half, 14-7. Sandalwood and Nice tied up at 6 as of a few minutes ago. And we'll get you some other scores around the area. There are some big games in action here on this Friday night. We've got a beautiful Friday night for football. The temperatures have finally cooled a bit over the last couple of days, all the way up till Monday, actually. Even that game Monday for Westside must have been a steamy one.
Must have been hot.
But now it's dropped a little bit and definitely more comfortable as we approach 7:30 here on a Friday night at halftime here at Andrew Jackson High School. The Westside Wolverines lead it 14-0. More of our halftime show when we get back. We'll check in with Marcel Robinson, who's on the road, and some other scores, plus a little bit more of what to expect here in the second half of our game of the week. 14-0. Westside leads Jackson here at halftime on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m.
I had no idea we were going to draft Blaine Gabbert. All right? Did your jaw just drop?
Yeah, it did. Did you sense the silence?
No idea. In fact, I left to go get something to eat because our pick wasn't for much longer in the draft.
You're supposed to pick 16th, yeah.
On ESPN 690.
It's time to chub it up with my favorite wings in the Jacksonville area. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go. 2 locations, one on the west side and one in Fleming Island. I've been to both. Then I called the owner up and said, hey, I like the wings so much, I want to endorse them. It's a true story. And here we are. Bring the family on Mondays to the Fleming Island location for 50-cent wings. Tuesdays at the Westside location, it's all-you-can-eat wings. Try the Maple Cajun or the Johnny-style wings. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at HondaoftheAvenues.com. The Honda Giant.
It's time to chub it up with my favorite wings in the Jacksonville area. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go. 2 locations, one on the west side and one in Fleming Island. I've been to both. Then I called the owner up and said, hey, I like the wings so much, I want to endorse them. It's a true story. And here we are. Bring the family on Mondays to the Fleming Island location for 50-cent wings. Tuesdays at the Westside location, it's all-you-can-eat wings. Try the Maple Cajun or the Johnny-style wings. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Now, the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week halftime show. Here's Brent Martineau.
14-0 in our game of the week here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Westside Wolverines on the road visiting the Jackson Tigers, and it was mostly Westside in the first half. Really not a lot of offense on both sides, but the big plays came on the Wolverines side of the football. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan here. Let's go around the city and around the area in Northeast Florida and see who else is playing. On a Friday night, we gave you some score updates. Atlantic Coast beating Buchholz at halftime, 14-7. I think I gave you an update of 6-6 on Nice and Sandalwood. Let's see if anything's changed. Action Sports Jax, Marcel Robinson at that game. Hey, Marcel, what's happening there? Marcel, what's happening at Nice and Sandalwood?
There you are. There you are. A little bit of a bad reception out here in St. Johns County.
Oh, come on.
I'm out here at Sandalwood. I'm out here at Nice as Sandalwood makes the trip. Funny story, I ran into the Sims family, of course, Sandalwood quarterback Just Sims, as I was driving the Atlantic Coast, and they saw me rocking out to my playlist. A little bit of an awkward moment, but the blitz is on.
Absolutely. What do you got there, 6-6? How's the game going so far?
Just got to the game. We are still in the first quarter, tie ball game at 6 with about 4 minutes left. Sandalwood's on the opposite end of the field, making their way in potentially. First stop over to Atlantic Coast, of course, Gainesville. Buchholz making the trip over to Stingray Bay. Pretty slow game at first until about the second quarter. We had a nice little potential scoop and score by Travis Betts from the Stingrays, picked up the ball, and then Atlantic Coast punched it in to take the 7-0 lead. 2 missed field goals by Buchholz when I left.
You on triple hop duty? Where else are you headed?
Yeah, next I'm heading over to Bartram Trail as, of course, Mandarin and the Georgia commit Carson Beck take on Chad Dotson, and what should be a pretty good affair. First time they're meeting up as 8A rivals.
Very good. That's a big-time district already. You can tell in Mandarin and Bartram and everybody else involved. It's one of the best districts you'll find in the state of Florida. So keep us up to date on that one. We'll follow at Marcel A.S. Jax on social media, on Twitter. And you got a good one there, it looks like. Nice and Sandalwood tied up at 6. Thanks for checking in, man. Marcel Robinson with the Friday Night Blitz. You can see all of his highlights tonight at 10:30 on Fox 30 and 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. We call it the Friday Night Blitz. We'll have games from all over the area, including some of the action from this one if you're just joining us. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. Take a look at some of our keys to the game from the early part. Honda at the Avenues, keys to the game. Lou Saab, Honda the Avenues, Jacksonville's Honda Giant, the Honda dealer that makes you happy. How do you think these are playing out so far, Coach?
I believe for Westside, they're playing out pretty good. They wanted to establish the run, what I thought they did a good job, mixed the pass in. They have eliminated the turnovers and red zone offense. I think they've pretty much scored every time they've been in the red zone. The 2 times they've been in, they've got points. Now, on the other side for Jackson, we wanted them to establish the run on offense to set up play action. They really haven't established it, and most of that's not their fault. I think it's more because they've started behind the change. Penalties have slowed it down, slowed the flow of the game down. Don't give up the big play, which they really haven't, because the pass was only a 14-yard touchdown pass. Young man made a nice play, jumped over the DB, caught the ball to his highest point in the end zone, and then do something on special teams. They haven't had an opportunity to do that yet. No return much in the kicking game. Haven't really done too much. They have covered the punt pretty good. But so, again, I think Coach Atwater at Jackson has to come out, try to establish the run, but I think he's got to get the ball out in the perimeter, whether it's quick screens or wide receiver screens or something, to get out on the edge of these guys because they're packing 8 in the box on them.
Yeah, and by the way, Sonnier has thrown the ball pretty well.
Yes.
It's just kind of gone through the receiver's hands or hasn't worked out too well for him, but I feel like he's thrown the ball well at times here tonight.
Yeah, he's had a couple drops. He's put the ball on the money. He's had a couple bad throws, but he's put the ball on the money. They had a couple drops. They've made a couple catches. But, again, I think they've got to get him a little bit of confidence at throws. Get him in the rhythm. Get the short stuff. Get it in his hands. Get it out of his hands fast.
High percentage stuff.
Right, and use that as the slants, or like I said, the screens, the quick screen, just to get him some confidence, but to get the ball out from the 8 in the box, get out on the edge.
That's a look back at our Honda at the Avenues keys to the game. Lou Saab, Honda the Avenues, Jacksonville's Honda Giant, the Honda dealer that makes you happy. And we want to thank all of our sponsors here on our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week. They include Mr. Chubby's Wings, our pregame show sponsor, and also Baker's Sports. who sponsors our Coach of the Week. We do that each and every Tuesday on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And this past week, week number 3, it's a guy you know very well.
Yes, sir. Robert Shields, Baldwin High School.
Baldwin coming off a win over
Westside 3-0.
And now 3-0.
Yeah, first-year head coach out there at Baldwin. He worked for his brother, Stephen, that was there for 3 or 4 years, and then Robert was on our staff here at Jackson and at Atlantic Coast. Was a really good addition, really good guy. Does a great job with the kids, loves the kids, real old school, hard-nosed. But real excited for him and the start that he's had out there at Baldwin.
Wilson's Dennis Bettinger, Creekside Sean McIntyre, also winners of our Baker Sports Coach of the Week. We're going to take one more time out. When we come back, second half action awaits here from Andrew Jackson High School. 14-0, Westside leads it on the road over the Tigers in our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week on ESPN 690.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at HondaoftheAvenues.com. The Honda Giant.
Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport, Baker Sports has been doing just that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. Screen print, embroidery, and trophies all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker Sports.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended, smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Mellow Mushroom Jack's Beach, Mellow Mushroom Avondale, and Mellow Mushroom Southside.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
I've said to people, I've said on air, I think the next 5 to 8 years will decide if Jacksonville wants to be Birmingham or if they want to be Charlotte.
Shortly after ShotCon took over ownership and said, I want to redevelop the shipyards. The reason he wants to do that is a vibrant downtown, a vibrant sports complex, according to Khan, is something that the team needs to stay viable and sustainable financially. So the shipyards have really kind of started and stopped, but what we have now is one part of that.
Action Sports Jax, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
14-0 is our score. Westside Wolverines on the road and in the lead over the Jackson Tigers in our Game of the Week on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And, of course, want to remind you, we have the Friday Night Blitz coming up tonight, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. So we'll have highlights from all around the area, including this one. In fact, we'll have some reaction from this game as well. You know, earlier this week we talked to Coach Rodney DeBose from Westside. He said, you know, I like being on the road. You don't have some of those home distractions.
Yeah.
And, you know, you don't really feel like that or think that way in high school football as much from the outside looking in. You kind of get that. Playing on the road is tough in the NFL, tough in college because you're traveling, you're boarding planes.
Right.
There's all that kind of stuff to it. I didn't really think about it. You're coming 20 minutes down the road, but you'd almost rather play on the road sometimes because you don't have to deal with anything else going on, from ticket keeping to concessions to the players just hanging out. Did you always notice that as being a difference?
Yeah, because it's sort of faster when you're on the road. So, you know, when it was the 7:30 start or 7 o'clock start and you got out of school at 2, then you ate, and then you had some downtime, then you got meetings, and then you got downtime, and then you meet again, and then you get ready to go. Where now if you're on the road, you're in, you're eating, you're taping, you're meeting, you're getting dressed, you're getting on the bus and going.
Yeah.
You know, so it speeds up the day. And I know some of the coaches, you know, not everybody likes the 6 o'clock start, but some of them don't mind it as much, especially if they're on the road. You know what I mean? Because it goes fast, and there's no downtime. There's no, we got to kill an hour. Kids are running around, playing grab butt and everything in the locker room and everything like that. You know, and you're screaming and yelling at them, get off their feet, drink fluids. So, some guys like that. But I always like playing on the road. We always like playing on the road. We like playing at home, too, but playing on the road was a little bit easier. And sometimes in the big games, I always like playing the big games on the road because – you could use that, they're going to have this big crowd, that mentality of what's going on in the big games. I know we used to play at Raines and Rebolt and First Coast. We love going up there and playing at those places. So, but again, that's a really good point. You get everything goes faster when you're on the road, and you don't have as much downtime for the coach.
Absolutely. You think about these two programs. We talked about it at the top of the show. In case you missed it, Jackson under Coach Antoine Atwater, he's done a fantastic job. It's been a long time since Jackson Tiger football has been kind of relevant around here, and you can tell they're building it up. The numbers they have, the amount of kids on the sideline, the excitement here off Main Street, and it's getting better and better and better. Remember, They were a victim of really a bad scenario last year. They would have made it to the playoffs. Right. They lost on a coin flip, and that kind of helped change the whole playoff system because of the way that went down.
Right, when the 0-9 team made it above them, in front of them.
Eastside, I think it was, right?
It was in the Panhandle, Gadsden County, one of those Gadsden County.
So, but Andrew Jackson just missed out, and I think they feel they have momentum, right? I mean, you can feel it from year to year to year. This is now year 3 for Atwater, and you can sense the momentum. They have to try to grab some momentum here coming up in the second half because they're down 14-0.
Well, the thing he did, too, was, he can't go and play Raines and Rebolt and First Coast and some of these Sandalwood and those because they're running freshmen. They're playing freshmen and sophomores. They've got a couple seniors. So he got away from that, and they let him do that. And now they've got teams they can compete with and play with. And being in 3A now, you're not in the district. So you can schedule your West Nassaus and the Episcopals and where your guys now, he knows next year there's one or two spots where he's got to find a game, and he feels next year will be the year maybe I can schedule a Rebolt back or a Raines back and get one of those old rivals, get Lee back that they played for 82 years up until 2 years ago, kind of thing. So I know that that's one of the things he definitely wants to do is getting everything back moving forward.
And it all starts with numbers, and you got to have the right numbers to be able to play, to avoid injuries, to be able to have some depth.
Not only do you got to have numbers, but you got to have support from the administration, and he has the support from the administration from Dr. Clinch and her team. And she loves athletics, and she wants us to be great academically on the field and in the classroom.
Very good. Second half action just about ready to get underway, and there it is, the second half kick as Andrew Jackson takes it on the 10-yard line, has some space, and has a big hole here going across midfield, breaks another tackle, now to the 40, and Westside finally catches up as he got slowed up. But a big second-half kick return. We talked about momentum going right to left. The Tigers are in business early in the second half.
Yeah, that was a really good run. He got up in and got a nice little block, hit the crease, got up the sideline, made the kicker miss, the kicker did a good job just sort of slowing him down, letting the rest of it. But they needed that play coming out from Darnell Cummings.
So that sets up the Jackson Tigers in good shape at the 30-yard line of Westside. Now let's see what they can do with it. Last time they were down in this neck of the woods in the first half, they turned it over on downs. Mahone in the backfield with Saunier. He gets the handoff, and he is met immediately by Westside. It looks like Elijah Velsant was right there for the tackle, and that will lose a couple yards on the first play of the second half for the Jackson offense.
Yeah, it looks like he just came through untouched. I don't think he blitzed. I just think he came off the edge with nobody fanned back on him and that. So, again, staying relentless on defense. Coach DeBow said he felt pretty good about them defensively. If they could control the run game, he feels really good about the secondary.
That was a loss of about 4 yards, so it's 2nd and 14. Once again behind the sticks early here in the second half. Saunier under center. Quick little pass, and that falls incomplete. It looked like it was Wiggins trying to catch that one. Ball looked behind him up here, so it brings up 3rd and long.
Yeah, defended by Phil Part, one of their mainstays, one of their leaders on defense. Did a nice job. Tried to throw a little tight end pop pass in there. Liked the call, just didn't get it executed.
So it brings up 3rd and 14 from the 34-yard line of Westside. After the big kick return to start the second half, things have stalled. Saunier under center, drops back and passes. Under a little pressure, spins around, and then short hops the receiver on the near sideline. And really not a lot doing there. They can't seem to block Westside up front and give Saunier enough time.
No, they're just sort of teeing off. It's like the left tackle can't get down and get set to give him any kind of time. He bailed just a tad on that out of there a little bit, but I don't blame him either. About 6 of those Westside Wolverines were barreling down on him in there. He didn't want to get hit in the chops.
Yeah, and they really did a nice job of kind of collapsing in on him because he couldn't get to the edge anywhere. He was just stuck. Saunier now will go for it on 4th and 14 from the 34-yard line of Westside. He's got 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. He's just going to launch it for a one-on-one play to the right side, and it's caught. Little back shoulder play, and now it's incomplete.
Oh, he dropped it.
They'll call it incomplete because it looks like Knowledge Williams was able to get his hand in there and knock it away. I mean, that was a catch all the way down to the last second.
Yeah, he got his hand and popped it out. That was Bland again. It looked like they were throwing to. Again,
good throw.
Yeah, good ball. Threw behind. Only guy can catch it right there. And did come up with it again. That's a couple of those gone through his hands tonight. So pretty good opening drive, but then they stall right there. So got to get going.
Well, it's the second time they've turned it over on downs deep in Westside territory, and therefore there's still a goose egg on the board for Jackson. So here comes Westside now. First possession of the second half, and they give it to Braswell, and Braswell crosses the 35, but not much else doing there. Maybe we'll call it a pickup of 2.
Yeah, 53 looked like he was in there on the tackle. Did a real nice job coming off the block to Darius Moore, 6'2 junior.
We'll call it 2nd and 8-ish. From the 36-yard line. 4 wide receivers once again. A familiar set for Otis out of the shotgun. Fakes the handoff to Braswell, then throws it high on the outside, and Terry couldn't get that one. Didn't even make an attempt. That thing sailed on Otis. Incomplete.
Yeah, it was like, again, a little quick screen. They brought the pressure, and he just sailed it off a little bit on there. If he hits him on that, Terry's going to run on that one. They would have got out there on that. The outside backer came off the edge. They had basically 2-on-1 up top.
So it brings up 3rd and 8 from the 36-yard line. First possession of the second half for Westside. They lead it by 14. Shotgun snap to Otis. Otis under pressure now, and he'll be brought down, sacked from the blind side. And Jackson once again able to get to Otis. They did it late in the first half. They do it again early in the second half.
Yep.
Crooms again. Crooms had himself a nice day.
Yeah, that's his 2nd sack of the game right there. Again, he beat him off the edge inside and just sort of got skinny and made the tackle. So really good job there. Again, Jackson defense playing solid.
9.5 and rolling here in the third quarter. 14-0 Westside. They'll have to punt. Salvador Cano has done all the kicking duties tonight for the Wolverines. Back out there.
Yeah, so both teams come out with a little bit of life and then sort of stall on each other.
30-yard line, 4th and a lot. Salvador Cano kicks it away. Pretty good kick down to the 35-yard line. That's caught. One tackle eludes.
That's Jonathan
And
Jackson.
now it's Jackson again, and there's a flag down once again. So this will likely be a block in the back during the return. That was pretty good. Got up to about the 45-yard line, but I think they might lose some yardage when the officials settle this.
Yeah, I can't see what it looks like, either blocking a back or a hold.
I think you just said blocking the back. 47-yard line is where the ball is spotted right now, but that will get them back inside their own 40-yard line at least. 8:57 to go here in the third quarter. Brett Martineau, Kevin Sullivan, our Action Sports Jacks game of the week. The Westside Wolverines lead at 14-0 on the road against the Jackson Tigers, and plenty of mistakes on both sides of the football. A lot of flags, some choppy play. Both teams behind the sticks quite a bit, but the few big plays have been made by Westside. A couple of touchdowns, a fumble recovery deep in Jackson's own end. That set up the second touchdown, and that's where we stand, 14-0 here in the third quarter. So Jackson loses a bunch of field position at their own 31. The handoff to start this possession is met in the backfield and probably lost a couple yards.
Yeah, that looked like the brothers in the backfield, the Martin brothers, Chadwick and Chandler. Looked like they had a hat party right there at the running back in the backfield. Another negative play to start first down. So they get something going in first down. It seems like there's a penalty, -2, -3, and they're just sort of struggling up front to block them. No seniors on the offensive line for Jackson. 3 juniors and 2 sophomores, so they are young up front. Most of the kids played last year, so you think, they just got to keep going and keep pressing. And again, they got to try to get outside and get on the edge.
Not a lot of open space. 2nd and 12 now. Ball back at the 28-yard line of Jackson. And there's a little bit of a delay as the officials wait to spot
getting a change straight.
Now they'll roll things. 2nd and 12 for Jackson at their own 28-yard line. 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. I formation for the Tigers. Saunier drops back, 3-step drop, launches it down the field. It's caught on the near side by the Tigers, and that's Ricky Shaw. And wait a minute, a little extracurricular. No flag, though, as Hopkins was able to stop from bringing Shaw to the ground. That's a big play across midfield now for Jackson, and one of those few big plays they've had in the football game.
Yeah, Shaw's the go-to guy, and I think I'd be trying to get him a little bit more involved. He's made 2 really nice catches. He's a big, tall target, 6'2 and a half, about 180, averaging about 16, 18 yards a catch. They got to get him a little bit more involved, and they continue to play one-on-one now over here now, where earlier in the game it seemed like they kept the safety over the top of him.
He's a hoops player, and they threw a jump ball basically to him on the left side, and it worked. Saunier now gives it to Mahone, and Mahone is gang tackled behind the line of scrimmage as he tried to go to the near sideline. And once again, that's Elijah Valsant doing a very nice job in the backfield of the Tigers.
Yeah, they're getting good penetration in there. They're trying to get a little pull off. It looks like they're trying to run a little power, and they're just sort of blitzing the A-gap and get the extra guy in there, which is freeing up the D lineman. And they've got him confused a little bit blocking-wise with the pressure. They got to come back and get the ball out on the edge.
Now that play gets them back in their own territory at their own 48-yard line. 2nd and 13 for Saunier and the Jackson offense. 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Receiver left, the receiver right, 2 backs in the backfield. Saunier couldn't step into that throw, and he threw it to the right side. It looked like the receiver might have been dragged down, but either way, he wasn't catching that. No penalty flag. And the problem for Saunier there is he just couldn't step into the throw.
No, they got too much pressure up in there on him right there. And couldn't get to step in the throw, so it was a little bit short, not a catchable ball. Remember, in high school, it doesn't matter. There can still be interference even if the ball's not catchable, which is something that we've always complained about the last 10 years. You could throw the ball like out of bounds, and if they think it's interference, they throw the flag. There's no uncatchable ball in high school.
That one was debatable. The Jackson fans probably wanted that little bit of contact, but to no avail. Trips on the right. Saunier now rolls right. Tries to buy a little time. He has some room, and he can run it across midfield, and then gets popped at the last second.
That's Philpott.
Philpott just delivered a big blow right around the 49-yard line of Westside. And that will bring up 4th down for Jackson.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to take off and go on that play, and then all of a sudden Philpott came off his guy, closed the alley in a hurry, and brought the boom on him right there now.
So now Jackson will play a little bit of a field position game as they'll bring out the punter, Connor Clark. Was had a busy day. Ball spotted at midfield. So it's 4th and 10. And we'll see if they can pin Westside deep at all here in the third quarter as we approach the 6.5-minute mark. Westside leads 14-0 over Jackson here on the road in our Action Sports Jackson Game of the Week on ESPN 690. McCray and Terry back there to field the punt. Clark gets the short snap, but he can't handle this one. The ball's still on the ground, and he is going to have to fall on it. Actually, I think it's a different Jackson player that falls on it, one of the linemen, and Westside will get the ball. It's a big mistake by Jackson, as now Westside will take over after the loose ball down on the Jackson 30-yard line.
Yeah, they've struggled with that snap. He made a really good play right before the half, which was and then that one, he was lucky enough to at least knock it down and not let it run, and then the lineman saw it and came back and fell on top of it. Westside could have picked that up and run in. That's probably the worst thing a coach on punt, having a punt blocked or just having the bad snap on the punt where you don't get it off or, they get a big player return. It just changed the field position in a hurry on that.
We got a water break here on the field here at Andrew Jackson High School. 14-0. Westside leads at 6:15 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back with more third quarter action. Our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690.
That's the crossroads.
So then you would have Jerry Jones basically saying we're not paying market value for what this guy would be worth.
He just came out and said you can win a Super Bowl without winning a rushing title.
Go Lick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at HondaoftheAvenues.com. The Honda Giant.
You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
Well, Westside takes over after the bad snap on the punt, and on first down from the Jackson 30-yard line, Ernest Terry able to scoot on the near side of the football field for a first down, maybe a gain of 11 yards. So Westside in business, already up 14-0 in our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week.
Yeah, I think they should keep running the motion, keeping the ball in the hands. They just ran the jet sweep action and handed it because they came to the quarterback that time. I think that's been their best play as far as spreading Jackson out, because when they've tried to run it inside, there hadn't been hardly anything there.
Halfway home through the third quarter, 6 minutes to go, 14-0 Westside. It's a 1st and 10 from inside the 20. And now Mahan gets it, has to bounce outside with a little pressure, but now has no pressure down the left sideline, the far side of the field. He picks up another first down inside the 10, but then a yellow flag is thrown. This is likely coming back.
Yeah, it looks like there's two holding penalties. There's one right about the line of scrimmage, which I think it was the tackle, and then the one down the field. So that was a really good explosiveness on Mahan and getting around the edge right there and changed the gear. Did really good job there, but this is going to come back.
There's initial penetration by Jackson, and that forced Mahan to bounce it out, but he showed his quickness.
Yes. Really good change of direction, and he changed gears too, getting on the edge right there. That was an impressive run.
Great story with Amari Mahan, the wide receiver, senior for Rodney DeBose and Westside. You know, he didn't play football at Oak Leaf. He transferred over from Westside. He was playing basketball, and Coach DeBose saw him playing some hoops, said, hey, you any interest in playing some football? He comes out for 2 weeks, puts him in a game. Late in the game, says, hey, I don't know any of the plays, Coach. He said, just go run a post. He runs the post, on his first play, catches a touchdown, and, well, now he's got a chance maybe to play at the next level, getting some D1 looks as well. He's a special talent. Funny how it happens, isn't it?
Wait a minute.
So after all that, as we were talking about Mahan, it was actually penalty against Jackson they called or they just picked them up because Westside has it. 1st and goal and almost into the end zone is Westside as the it's not Darnell Cummings, excuse me. But they got it down inside the 5-yard line now as the officials have been very confusing at times. That was Mahan. They gave it to from right out of the backfield.
Ran the toss out there on there. They figured they got to get him in the end zone after that big run. 5.5
minutes to go here in the third quarter now. Ball on the 1-yard line, and they'll give it to him again, and he will run in. The official signal is good. It's a touchdown for Amani Mahan and the Westside Wolverines as they go up 3 scores here in the third quarter.
Yeah, again, I don't know they didn't even signal what those penalties were. Did they signal what those penalties were when the play before that? Oh, they offset. It was offsetting. It was a defensive holding and an offensive holding.
Also, they gave it to where the play finished up.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't want to critique the officials. I don't do that. I don't do that anymore.
You can't get fined up here, I don't think. By the way, interesting how they use Amani Mahan there. They use him on the to play to get down inside the 10-yard line, the one where there was the offsetting holding penalty.
Right.
And then they use them straight out of the backfield, which is the first time we've seen that tonight. I was a little surprised to see number 6 back there in the backfield.
Yeah,
they used him on 2 straight plays.
Especially it was short yardage. And, with the big Bruiser Braswell that they have, 5'8", 185, big bowling ball, just downhill runner, and they toss it to him. But maybe Coach DeBose said, hey, man, he finished off that run nice. Let's give him a chance to get in the end zone right there. So 21-0, middle of the third quarter. Tigers got to get something going on offense.
Yeah, Jonathan Salvador Cano able to knock in the extra point, and that makes it a 3-score game, 21-0. And once again, some big turning points in this football game. One, the strip and recovery by Westside set them up at the 11-yard line of Jackson. And then that time on the punt, Jackson snap gets away, and Westside is able to take over on the 30-yard line of the Tigers. So 2 short fields lead to 2 touchdowns. Put that together with the first quarter touchdown from the backup quarterback, Elliott Blair, on a 4th down play, and you've got the 3 scores.
Yep, exactly. And, again, they've done a good job. Jackson's done a good job defensively, but they've got the ball on the 12 and on the 20 because of turnovers on special teams and the offensive turnover.
Salvador Cano will kick it off. This one in the middle of the field. Bounces a couple of times, picked up at the 15-yard line. Crosses the 30-yard line and out to the 33-yard line that time for Cummings. And Cummings doing a nice job on kick returns, and he gives Jackson some pretty decent field position.
That was Akari Brady, number 9, on that kick return that time. So, he got a little change of gear, runs it up in there, got a good knack to see it right there. We got to see Jackson's got to get something here, got to get something going right now.
They got to do it in a hurry, too, because 5:12 to go in the third quarter. They'd like to grab some momentum heading into the fourth quarter, give themselves a chance to win the football game. Westside played on Monday, lost to Baldwin 24-7. They're in good shape here tonight, 21-0 on the road in our game of the week. Saunier gets a shotgun pass, almost picked off, as there was definitely some miscommunication. Hopkins almost got it for Westside, and he had that one right in his hands. He's so upset about it. Yeah. I think he was surprised the ball. It was like he was the receiver on the play.
Yeah, it looked like they ran a little bubble with a slant. He faked the bubble and tried to hit the slant. It looked like he was the receiver right there. Just a good, hard-thrown ball, but nobody there to catch it.
Yeah, obviously someone ran the wrong route or it was miscommunication on the quarterback part for Saunier. So 2nd down and 10. Low snap, shotgun, now just launches down the field, and Ricky Shaw, the intended receiver, but that ball overthrown. And it was good coverage on the play as well by Westside as Knowledge Williams was in coverage.
Yeah, they moved it, Knowledge Williams over to this side where they had number 8, and there's Amar Hopkins. And it looks like they've moved Hopkins to the field. And they've got him playing in the thing. Maybe he's a better press guy, does a better job. He's not near as tall, but they've got Shaw on top of him.
3rd down and 10 from their own 33. Saunier spits it out to Shaw. Shaw has it, crosses the 40 now into the 42 and close to a 1st down. We'll see where the officials spot this, and it looks like a pretty friendly spot to begin with. It's not officially marked yet, but it's either 4th and very short or a 1st down for Jackson once they put this ball on the ground. 4:40 to go in the third quarter, and I think the officials will stop this for a measurement. No, they won't. They say 1st down. So 1st down for Jackson. Really nice individual effort by Ricky Shaw there as he got it in his hands finally.
Playmaker, they need to get it in his hands a few times. A little bit more. A little quick screen, got it out there.
10 from the 43-yard line for Jackson. Out of the shotgun, Saunier gets rid of it in a hurry. This one he sails pretty high and incomplete across the middle of the field.
Yeah, again, everything coming out of his hands fast. They're not giving him a chance to get the rush, which is good because it tires those D linemen getting off the ball every play. Tires him out, but he's catching it and getting it out fast. We just got to complete it. But good playing coming out now, opening it up a little bit.
2nd down and 10 from their own 43-yard line. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, 21-0. Westside leads Jackson in our game of the week. Trips to the right, shotgun snap. They set up the screen to Mahone. Mahone has some room now, across midfield, down to the 47-yard line, maybe even the 46. And a good pickup by Jackson and another 1st down.
They're good again. Screenplay. They got the wide receiver screen for the first down. Then they got the little running back screen. Sort of release them all, throw it right in the middle. Lineman got to get up on a guy. Mahone gets rolling. That's a big body to get rolling on there.
A couple plays right there that you were asking for at halftime.
Yes.
Said, hey, let's
They
get
should
a
have
little
come.
confidence with Saunier, get a little higher percentage passing, and here they are. Cross midfield, 1st and 10 on the Westside 46. Shotgun snap to Saunier. Over the middle now into tight coverage, and the ball gets knocked away right at the last moment by Westside and Justin Bradley, the free safety.
Yeah, Bradley came and closed fast on that, botted that ball up. And number 10, Darrell Williams, looks like he should have picked that ball. He wasn't real happy at the end of that play. They've done a good job interception-wise on the team. They've got 7 interceptions on the year, and it's spread out. It's 2 here, 2 there, 1 there. So they might have a little competition amongst each other back there, who gets the pick or
yeah,
whatnot.
We're only a few games into the season.
Right,
That's pretty good
right.
amount of
That's
interceptions.
not bad at all. Not bad at all.
4 minutes to go in the third quarter. 21-0 Westside. 2nd and 10 from the Westside 46-yard line for Jackson. Saunier out of the shotgun, drops back, under pressure, escapes a tackler, now rolls to his left on the near side, and all he can do is step out of bounds and avoid at least a sack. I think he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they brought the extra pressure off the edge that time, and they were trying to get the ball again to Ricky Shaw on the takeoff. He didn't have any time. They were all over him right there.
So bring up a 3rd down and 10 for Saunier and the Jackson Tigers offense, which is across midfield for the 3rd time in this football game. The previous 2 times, they had to turnover on downs deep in Westside territory.
Yep.
3rd and 10. You figure it could be 4-down territory, down 21-0. Saunier, shotgun snap. This time rolls right. Under pressure again. Avoids the sack.
Ball's
and now
out.
is sacked. There's a fumble, and it's picked up by Westside. Westside has it in Jackson territory, inside the 40-yard line, and down to the 39, 38-yard line. Is that big number 77 again? I think
77
it is.
was definitely in there at the first.
Tyrell Brabham. He's had a big day.
And Jeremiah Dawson was in there too, number 30.
He recovers the fumble and rumbles down inside the 40-yard line. And another big play in favor of Westside. They're in business once again in Jackson territory, trying to put maybe an exclamation point on this football game, even though we're still in the 3rd.
I'll tell you, Bradham did a nice job. Big kid right there, reached out, sort of lunged his body and sort of knocked him off. And then the ball started getting loose, and number 30 came in and hit him, bounced it out, and he got right back up to get the fumble recovery.
So Westside takes over on offense now. 39-yard line of Jackson, 1st and 10. Trips to the left. They look at the bench for the change of play. Otis, shotgun snap. Otis drops back, has time, and might have short hop Terry. Does Terry get his hand under that football down inside the 25-yard line? Yes, they'll call it a completion. That was a heck of a play by Ernest Terry to be able to haul that in. That was close.
Yeah, that was real close. It looked like here it might have skipped a little bit, but he did a nice job. And, you teach those guys when they get that ball to sort of roll and then hold it up. So it looks like they got it. He did a good job on that ball.
Way to sell it.
Yeah.
And it might have been a clean catch.
And it could have been.
It's really hard to tell from up here. But
from our angle.
Inside the 25-yard line now. That's a pickup of 15 yards. Otis to Terry. 2:45 and the clock's rolling. 21-0 Westside in the lead, and they shouldn't be in much of a hurry here. But they're in business again. 4 wide receivers set. Braswell in the backfield with Otis. And here's Terry in motion once again. Shotgun snap. Now Otis has a receiver on the far side and into the end zone. There's a fumble. The ball goes loose. Nope, they call it a touchdown before then. So a touchdown for Westside, and that's Ely again. He's had a fantastic evening, and he just gets in the end zone there. Otis to Ely. Touchdown from 24 yards out, and it's 27-0.
Yeah, they just ran the isolation, ran the motion across, get the isolation, ran the post, and Otis threw a really nice ball. But, boy, Terry's got really nice hands. He's got a chance to really do something in the next level. He's a pretty good player right there. Really good player. Real impressed with him tonight. Him and Philpott, 2 guys I'm really impressed with tonight for Westside.
And Jared Ely really got some separation on that play as well. Now the kick is up, and it is good. 2 extra points in a row for Jonathan Salvador Cano, and it's 28-0 here on our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Good separation by the receiver, beautiful throw by Otis, and you got yourself a touchdown. I just couldn't tell if the ball got knocked out late, but he had already crossed the goal line.
Yeah, I think he crossed the goal line when he got hit, and it looked like that. And the referee was right there, so I think that was the right call. But I tell you, I was real impressed with the way he caught the ball with his hand, real strong hands in there. You know, he's 6 foot, about 175 pounds, runs real well, really good routes. Otis put the ball right on him, went up, got it with his hands, took the shot, got in the end zone, and it's 28-0 Westside.
They've got some weapons, don't they? Ely,
Yes.
Terry, obviously Otis running this offense. He's a different dynamic at the quarterback spot than how we started this game with Elliott Blair, although Blair came in and getting the start in that first quarter and did a very nice job as well. So you can tell Rodney DeBose, he calls this offense spread multiple. They can play in a lot of different ways. If they want to pound Braswell, they can do that. Jeremiah Bradley, they can do that. Or they can really spread you out and let Otis kind of take over, and he's done that at times tonight. Kickoff now down to the 10-yard line, fumbled away. Zakari Brady now breaks across the 30-yard line, a little step back in and to the 34. A nice return once again by Brady, who's had himself a pretty good return night. Here in the second half especially.
Yeah, Zakari moves around really good, got really good feet. Really good player right there. He's a 10th grader, so we're going to see him for a few more years.
That's the one thing about both these teams, and really we did this last week too. With
right.
Bartram Trail and Creeks had a lot of young talent on the field. I mean, these teams we've seen the last couple of weeks are not senior laden. They've got a handful, but a lot of their talent is at the sophomore level, junior level. We're going to be watching them for a couple of years to come.
Yeah, without a doubt, and that's what's sort of neat about what we've been able to do week to week, being able to see the different teams.
Jalen Saunier takes over again. 4 wide receivers set out of the shotgun. They set up the screen and miscommunication because it looked like Cummings might have been off to the right side. They tried to throw a middle screen instead, and no go, incomplete.
I don't know if he didn't get the call or he just thought it was a different play. But, again, Westside's doing a good job. They're rotating some other guys in the game that we haven't seen yet. We've got number 42 in it at defensive line. Looks like Daryl Agahi.
Yeah, Daniel Agahi.
Daniel Agahi. He's in the game playing some defensive line, giving some of those guys a rest.
Second down and 10 now from their own 35-yard line. Jackson out of the Wildcat this time. And they throw it. But it's going to go for a 6-yard loss. It was complete on the far side of the football field. But it didn't work as the Jackson Tigers have made a switch at quarterback momentarily. And Emory Terry is into the football game.
Yeah, Emory Terry is in. He's a freshman, I believe.
Yes, he is.
And so we don't know if it's, say, hey, we're down 28-0. Let's get the young guy in a little bit. What happened? But then we had a personal foul after the play, backing this thing up a little bit.
That will go against Jackson, so that will back him up quite a bit here on third down. I don't see Saunier being looked at. In fact, I think I see him right there on the sideline. So I think this is a chance maybe to get the young quarterback a little bit of playing time.
Yes.
Emory Terry, the freshman, go out of the shotgun. Inside 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 28-0. Westside leads it here on the road in our game of the week. Terry drops back, then throws it left, and that might be picked off. It is picked off by Knowledge Williams, and he might return this. He does. Pick 6 for Knowledge Williams as nobody was there. That ball thrown up for grabs. Williams fielded it like a punt, and then he returned it 25 yards for the touchdown.
Yeah, that was a good play right there. It was a decent ball, but was thrown behind it. It was, I think, the young man just got it a little bit up too high. Emory Terry coming in to play quarterback, and easy interception. Nobody there, just ran it in from about 25 yards out, and we're 1 point away from possibly running clock here.
Knowledge Williams with the pick 6, and so big plays in this football game, really all made by Westside, and that's why you see the score the way it is. Right now, 34-0, and a chance to make it 35-0 is Salvador Cano, and we got a false start before we make that happen on Westside. I know we got a false start and an offside call in the same call, so I think it was false start.
Yeah, I think it was false start. I don't think the guy stepped in the neutral zone. Usually if they move the defensive guys, they call it on the defensive guys if that makes the offensive guys move.
The ball will be placed at the 15-yard line, and
they got to move the ball out of the sand patch
yeah.
in the middle of the field. That's one thing
Minaturi in the snow.
But I tell you, that hasn't changed because every year that's where it got bad at on this field, and every spring we would resod those bad spots and everything. Hey, Coachy.
So the extra point now. Snap the hold, and the kick is up and has plenty of distance, but we've got another flag down. The kick is good. We'll see what the flag is. And Salvador Cano looking good, kicking those extra points. 35-0 the score. Everybody coming off the field, so I think they'll decline this penalty.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're good on that. So 35-0. Is sort of as a coach, you like when it's 35-0 because that means it's going to be tick-tock. We're going to run that clock.
Well, you like it if you're on the west side.
On the west side, yeah. On this side, not so much.
Yeah, not so much. You don't want to be on this side for Jackson. And 1:39 to go in the third quarter. 35-0 now is our score, as Westside's been able to make some big plays. And if you think about it, again, I think you'll go back and look at this tape if you're Jackson and say, well, our defense really didn't do poorly. We were just set up in some really bad spots.
Yep.
Now the pick six and a couple of plays that you'd like to have back, but that's every team. This has really just been a bad circumstance on a lot of different levels for the Jackson Tigers defense.
Well, they're not going to kick it to Brady this time. They're going to let the other Jonathan run it this time.
Yeah, Jonathan Jackson has it. He's across the 35-yard line out to the...
Hey, they're still playing. That's what you want to do, man. You got to just keep playing.
I actually thought we'd see a little bit more Jackson tonight. We haven't seen him touch the ball that often.
Not too much, no, not early on. And, maybe it's just that coach doesn't feel like he's doing it, or he was getting the senior Mahone. They thought he needed the bigger back to help the linemen, that kind of stuff. So, but I think we'll see him now. I think we'll see a lot of the young guys in now.
Absolutely. He's in the game right now, and Emory Terry will stay in the football game for Andrew Jackson. Just through the interception, but good time to get some reps for the young freshman quarterback as we tick down inside a minute to go in the third quarter. 35-0, Westside in the lead from their own 36-yard line. And time it's a jailbreak on offense for Jackson, and there's a host of Westside players.
Yeah, chatted with Martin there, and he's been in there back. And I think we got
Martin, Valsant, and Lewis. They've all been back there.
Yeah, they've done a good job of really causing some trouble. We got a young man down on the field. One of the Jackson players is down. It might have been the young man carrying the ball.
Well, let's take a timeout as well as we take a look at the trainers take a look at the player down on the field. And when we come back, we'll finish up the third quarter, head into the fourth quarter. 42 ticks away from doing that. 35-0, Westside in the lead here against Jackson at Andrew Jackson High School on our Action Sports Jackson Game of the Week on ESPN 690.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options, and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at HondaoftheAvenues.com. The Honda Giant.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. You're listening to the ESPN 690 High School Football Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Now, back to the action. Here's Brent Martineau.
Jackson has the football, 2nd and 10 from their own 36-yard line. Terrence Holland comes off the field. He's the injured player. Looks to be okay. And now another interception as the ball is picked off by Westside and run back the other way. And it's McCray playing on the defensive side of things. And the freshman has it for Westside and scores a defensive touchdown. He's all fired up about it.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting right there. Looks like the ball got batted. And
it was deflected.
Picked up, McCray picks it up in the air, and nobody's there, and he just runs in the end zone.
Well, Westside has a couple players that will play both sides of the football. We've seen McCray really as a specialist in the punt return game earlier on a big punt return that got called back, and now we see him on the defensive side of things, and that ball just landed right in his lap, much like earlier it did for Knowledge Williams too on the other pick six. So back-to-back pick sixes. The score balloons to 41-0 as the last play of the third quarter is a big one for Westside.
Yeah, again, and then when we roll over to the fourth quarter, it'll be a running clock from then on. So this thing will move pretty fast. But again, I think you gotta sort of get back and let the young kids play, and just like Coach Atwater's doing, and maybe run the ball a little bit more. They're subbing out over there on the west side, and just sort of get in there and get out of here and get back to work on Monday.
Salvador Cano with the extra point did a nice job of that. Good job by the holder too on that.
Yes.
Not an easy snap, and was able to put that down for Salvador Cano to kick it through, and it's 42. Did they get it?
I thought they got it. Oh, I thought they got it.
He did miss
it?
it?
Good.
I must have just been caught up in the style of that. That looked majestic. Never waited to see if it went through, Coach.
The angle's not very good here, so,
We got excuses all over the place.
Yeah,
We're getting old. The eyes are old. The numbers are – jerseys look the same. Lighting.
So they'll flip sides to start the fourth quarter. Like I said, it'll be a running clock now. Automatic in high school fourth quarter. It's up to the coach anytime earlier than that. Both coaches have to agree. If it's 35 at halftime, some guys will run it, some guys won't, but it's up to the coach. But once it gets to the fourth quarter, it's mandatory.
So 41-0 is our score. Action Sports Jack's Game of the Week on ESPN 690. 12 minutes to go, and as Coach mentioned, running clock the rest of the way as long as the score remains this way here at Jackson High School. Andrew Jackson hosting Westside, but losing big time tonight, 41-0. This is a pretty good game through the first two quarters.
Yes.
It's 14-0. And again, I think we've brought it up. Now 2 pick sixes, some big plays, and kind of the floodgates have opened for Westside. Kickoff return, and Andrew Jackson able to get it. It's Jackson again. Jackson moving his feet a bunch and eating up a lot of real estate, but not really going north and south that much. Gets back to about the 26-yard line, and Andrew Jackson will take over and see if they can get anything going with a lot of the young players out there on offense for the Tigers.
Yeah, a lot of young players. You'll have a couple of the young skill guys getting in the game and everything like that, but you just got to keep going, got to keep playing. Like I said, the clock's going to be running, so this quarter will go pretty fast. But they just got to keep going and keep hanging in there and keep working. That's the main thing. That's what all you tell your kids that are in the game. Let's just keep working, keep working, keep working.
They'll spot it just outside the 25-yard line. Jackson takes over. 1st and 10. And once again, is it Terry? Yes, it is. Emory Terry, the freshman. He's actually thrown 2 pick sixes. The last one was a deflection, not as much his fault. But he'd like to get something going. He drops back and passes, hit as he throws it, and Westside Wolverines were diving all over the place trying to get another interception. They come up empty.
Yes, that's again, he's thrown a little bit of a balloon ball. He's getting a little bit of pressure. I would probably come back and try to establish a little bit of a run with our guys right here. You've got a freshman quarterback in who's thrown 2 pick sixes. I'm all about getting him back going, but again, he is a freshman. I think I'd try to take some pressure off of him a little bit and run the ball and maybe get out on the edge or, again.
There's not a lot of depth for Westside, too,
Nope.
So they have to keep their guys in. And so against these young guys, and there you see the offensive line, if you're watching on our video feeds, doesn't hold up against the defensive front of Westside. Handoff goes for negative yardage, and it will bring up a 3rd and long for the Jackson offense.
You know, if you think about this, Brent, the seniors on this Westside team for the last 2 years have been in that district with Trinity, Bowles, Ponte Vedra. You know, and they've been on the other end of this, you know, right there. So you got to feel good about those guys and Coach Dubose and that, where these kids have hung in there. He lost 2 kids to transfer this year that were starters for him. But the kids that he has want to be there, want to play for him.
Absolutely, and they're playing well tonight, especially on defense, pitching a shutout this far. Emory Terry, shotgun snap. Drops back and short hops the receiver. Had 2 receivers in the area, one on what looked to be a kind of a screen, and then another receiver out there. It fell in between both of them. Will bring up a punting situation for Connor Clark and Jackson.
Yeah, not the way the Tigers wanted to end up tonight. They thought they were going to get in here and have a real competitive game. It was real competitive in the first half, but the difference in the second half really was the bad snap on the punt that gave them the short field of 20 yards, and then, of course, the 2 pick sixes right there. And then, you got down 21-0, and it was just the turnovers, and that have not helped them any at all.
The running clock gets us down to 8:46 to go in the final quarter. Jackson calls a timeout as they lined up to punt the ball away. Might not have had enough players on the field. So Antoine Atwater will rally the troops a little bit and try to get things corrected, not only the rest of this game, but also going into next week where, well, they got to march on, right? Westside, by the way, who has beaten Inglewood and lost to Baldwin Monday, gets Orange Park next week, then at Baker County. So 2 big road games coming up for Westside.
Yeah, Orange Park will be a big rival for them. They're real close to each other. All those kids grew up together. And then Baker County is in the district, too. So, and I think they're playing tonight, Baker district game. I think they're playing Ed White tonight, if I'm not mistaken, over there on the west side at Ed White. Haven't got a score on that one.
Yeah, we'll try to get you some scores here in the fourth quarter of this one. Our game of the week, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, has turned into a bit of a blowout here in the fourth quarter. 41-0. Westside leads at 8:46 to go, and Jackson punting away. Bad snap. Connor Clark has been unbelievable handling some of these snaps. He gets the kick away out to the 45-yard line, but wow, it's been a tough job back there for Connor Clark, and that's something Jackson's going to have to straighten out. They have to figure out that snap because that's been problematic multiple times.
Yeah, they've got to get that. That's the biggest thing is the special team snap on the punt team. The punt team, the snapper is the biggest thing. Punter's okay, but you got to get the snap every time. It just messes everything up, the timing, the blocking, and everything. So they've got to do a good job this week of getting that taken care of.
Take a look at the next couple of weeks for Andrew Jackson. They get Wolfson here at home next Friday night. Then they go to Fernandina Beach right after that. Right now they'll fall to 1-2 after losing to Father Lopez and beating Stanton a week ago. But Westside certainly in control of this one here tonight on ESPN 690. Inside 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 41-0. Westside leads Jackson. And the Wolverines back on offense. And Otis back under center or in the shotgun. Gets the snap and he's direct run. Crossed down to the 45, down to the 43-yard line. A good first down gain. A drive that starts right at midfield for Westside.
Yeah, it looks like Sandalwood's jumped up on top 28-6 over Nice. Third quarter, Jeff Sims is sort of taken over with a run, couple touchdown passes. Good player. We got him in a couple weeks, I think, don't we?
We do. We have Rains and Sandalwood coming up as one of our games of the week. Next week, by the way, we're going up to Camden County.
Going to Georgia, Welton Coffee, right?
Southeast Georgia.
We'll get to see Welton Coffee as the athletic director up there.
Never a bad thing. Titan Otis with the snap, and now there's a flag down as Braswell gets hit pretty hard by Jackson. Jackson's still playing hard on the defensive side of things, as they should be. They've been pretty good on defense all night.
They've done a good job defensively.
You wouldn't notice it. You look at the scoreboard, you say 41-0. Whoa. Well, that's not really been the problem for Jackson. The Tigers have played pretty well on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, again, and you're right, you would notice it, but they've had 3 short fields. And then 2 pick sixes running, and they've done a good job. Really, the only drive they've given up was the first one, which was penalty-aided. It was about
4 penalties.
Right, about 65-yard drive, but they had 4 penalties that help extend the drive.
2nd and 12 now from their own 49. Otis in the shotgun, gets the handoff, gives it to Braswell. Braswell crosses midfield. Actually, that is not Bradfield. That instead is... Who is that, Coach? Is that Mahan?
That's
again?
Mahan, yeah.
They got Mahan playing a lot of running back.
Yeah, they might be working him in a little bit to see what he can do, give him a chance to touch the ball. He's real explosive, so why not, you know?
He's a wide receiver by trade.
Right.
And they've been sticking him in that backfield.
Water break, last one.
Yeah, not really making any kind of formation changes. They've just been having Mahan in the backfield. We're going to take a quick timeout. One more water break to go. 41-0. Westside leads Jackson here in our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week on ESPN 690 with 6 minutes to go here in the football game.
Game of Thrones, the live concert experience, is coming to Jacksonville at Daly's Place on September 20th, and ESPN 690 has your chance to win tickets to the show. So head on over to the contest page at ESPN690.com to enter for your last chance to win a pair of tickets to the Game of Thrones live concert experience.
It's time to chub it up with my favorite wings in the Jacksonville area. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go. 2 locations, one on the west side and one in Fleming Island. I've been to both. Then I called the owner up and said, hey, I like the wings so much, I want to endorse them. It's a true story. And here we are. Bring the family on Mondays to the Fleming Island location for 50-cent wings. Tuesdays at the Westside location, it's all-you-can-eat wings. Try the Maple Cajun or the Johnny-style wings. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings. Welcome back to our game of the week here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. 41-0 is our score. Westside leads Jackson here on the road. Friday the 13th. It is a nightmare on Main Street, but
the other side.
Yeah, for the other side instead. Where did the nightmare on Main Street
Freddy Krueger
come
started with basketball.
For you guys. Did you guys just pick it up?
Yeah, it started back before I even got here because of basketball. When they used to be really good, they won the state '93. They were always real good and real competitive. And then when we started getting it going and winning, of course, we embraced that. And, all that good stuff. Yeah, so we always embrace that.
Westside is going to be forced to kick it away inside 5 minutes ago. We have a running clock here in our game of the week as Westside is up 41-0 on the strength of a couple of pick sixes here in the second half.
And here's the snap.
Salvador Cano doing the punting duties. It's a low-line drive and settles in right out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. So Salvador Cano has done a pretty good job. I think both punters and kickers have handled their jobs pretty well. Connor Clark has had a lot of trouble with snaps, but it really wasn't his fault. He's done a great job just to manage some of them at times for Jackson. As Jackson takes over, see if they get something going on offense before this one is all said and done. Inside 4.5 minutes to go now in the football game on this running clock, so it goes pretty quick.
Yeah, it'll go. Yeah, it'll go fast. We won't have too many more snaps as the officials don't slow it down for anything. We shouldn't have too many snaps.
Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan here in our Action Sports Jacks game of the week. Happy to have you along with us. Great to be here in Duval County. Great to be here at Andrew Jackson High School and right off Main Street for this one between Westside and Jackson. The snap for Terry, and there's confusion in the backfield, and then there's a host of Wolverines.
Yeah, they tried
once
to run,
again back there.
Yeah, they tried to run draw there, and the quarterback just sort of ran into the running back right there, and that was not going anywhere.
A little bit of living and learning going on with some of the young guys right now for Jackson.
But
that's part of it.
Yeah, that is part of it, and that's part of building it and trying to keep your guys positive, keep them moving forward. Even though it's week 3, it's still a long season now.
Yeah.
Still got plenty of football left.
Hey, a couple of mentions for some of those linemen, too. Daquan Sneed and Kamani Wright Dunbar, Tyrone Campbell, Tredarius Moore. I'd like to mention the offensive lineman a little bit as now the handoff.
Jackson.
And that's Jackson. Haven't seen him much tonight, but a nice run across the 25-yard line, maybe out to the 27. And that will set up a reasonable third down as Jackson picks up a good amount there on second down.
Yeah, they got it out on the edge a little bit because, they're keeping all them guys packed in the box in there. So they got a nice little toss off the edge and got them moving, got it close to a first down. So looks like third and about 5.
One more mention of the lineman coach, Dominique Jackson. Coach Atwater says most improved, but we're here, what's this, 40th in Maine, right? This 40th? Well,
48th.
48th in Maine. Mm-hmm. Dominique lives on, I think he said 60th or 68th. He walks like 20 blocks to practice every day.
Yeah.
That'll tell you how bad you want it, right? On third down, a big hit in the secondary, and maybe drew a flag as well as Andrew Jackson was trying to convert on the third down. That's Jackson again. He lost his footing, actually was able to keep his feet and then got clocked pretty good. They might call a helmet on helmet hit or a face mask instead. So it's a face mask against Westside, and that will bring a first down for Andrew Jackson with a little over 2 minutes to go and a running clock for the Tigers. So anyway, it tells you a little bit about, you talked about earlier about Atwater and getting the guys in the program that you want in the program. Give a little love to the center, Dominique Jackson, a guy who walks back and forth to practice every day like that.
Yeah, he said that he always goes past goes past the fire station, and one of the guys asked him, "What do you do? Why do you come every day?" He goes, "I'm going to workout." And they said the guy at the fire station bought him a pair of cleats and gave him a pair of cleats.
Really?
Yeah, at
Very
the end
cool.
of the summer. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
That's pretty good stuff. As Jackson now has it up about midfield, about 48-yard line. Terry now looking down the field, the right side, gives his receiver a chance, and that's knocked away, though, by Hopkins, as the defensive backs have really had a night, and especially a second half for Westside.
Yeah, that was a good little ball from the young kid, Terry, throwing the ball up there. That's a good little ball. Give Shaw a chance. Shaw's had a pretty productive night, done a really good job. So, again, a lot of young guys out here. They just got to get a couple things filled up and ready to go.
Inside 2 minutes to go now with the running clock here at Jackson High School. 41-0 Westside in the lead, looking to close this one out, and they will do in about 90 seconds. Second down for Andrew Jackson. The pitch, nice play by Jackson. Almost had it stolen away, and we got another face mask most likely. Despite a loss on the play, it'll pick up another first down.
Face mask.
You saw that from a mile away, didn't you?
Yeah, that was easy. You can always see the head snap, you know. Sometimes you get them on those, you can tell just the way the head moves and everything. Where sometimes they call when it's in a pile, and the guy gets his arm like around the neck and you can't see it. But that one was pretty easy. I think that might have been on Phil's part, probably the only thing he's done wrong all game.
Well, we're approaching a minute to go in the game on this running clock. Reminder, next week we'll be up at Camden County, Southeast Georgia, for our game of the week. That will be a 7:30 kickoff. Low snap for Jackson, and
good tough
little
run.
game.
Yep, good tough running inside.
40-yard line. And we might have a player or two left in this one with the running clock the way it is. Emory Terry, the freshman quarterback, runs over to the sideline, gets the play, comes back in, and depending on how this one works out, it could be the final play of our Action Sports Jacks game of the week on ESPN 690.
Second and 7. Got a little drive here at the end of the game.
They're going to have to see if they get a big chunk. Being flushed now out of the pocket, completes the pass, and maybe gets 2 yards, but that might be the end of it, Coach, unless they call a timeout.
No, I think that's going to run it down right there.
Right there. And that will be the football game. And a good win by Westside. But, you
yeah,
play
twice
in 5 days.
Yeah.
You really like to get a win, especially when you fall 24-7 to Baldwin. Westside comes in and gets the job done.
Yeah, without a doubt. They came ready to play tonight and got something going early and then poured it on in the second half with the turnovers and everything.
It was funny. Rodney DeBose told us this week, he said, you know what, you want to sneak that game in on Monday when everything got messed up because of the hurricane, and then you lose and you start second-guessing yourself. You're like, maybe we shouldn't have done that. But
always got to try to play the game, man.
It works out at the end because now they're 3-1. Westside as they travel to Orange Park next week and then on the road at Baker County a week after that. We'll come back and recap this one, but at the end of the day, it's a 41-0 win for Westside here on the road against the Jackson Tigers, our Action Sports Jacks game of the week. In coverage of this one, we'll put a bow on it coming up next on ESPN 690.
I think it's time to let go.
Top-ranked Clemson at the Syracuse Orange. Coverage begins Saturday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. Presented by Goodyear.
Honda of the Avenues is the Honda Giant with close to 700 new Hondas and quality pre-owned vehicles and award-winning service department. Jacksonville's car buyers have options and they want your car shopping experience to be fast, fun, and hassle-free. That's what you'll get on every visit, every time. Put Honda of the Avenues to the test and let them show you a fresh new approach to car shopping at Honda of the Avenues, online at HondaoftheAvenues.com. The Honda Giant.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Florida's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, Studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The final whistle has blown and the game is over. We're breaking it all down on the High School Football Game of the Week postgame show. Here's Brent Martineau.
Welcome back, everybody, to Jackson High School, really just down the road from Andrew Jackson High School on Main Street for a little Friday night football, Friday the 13th. And it was kind of a nightmare for the Tigers at the end of the day. 41-0, Westside gets the win. It was a 14-0 game at halftime, and then the floodgates opened a bit with a couple of mistakes. One on special teams led to a touchdown, and then a couple of pick sixes by the young freshman quarterback for Jackson in the second half, and that allowed for a running clock and a 41-0 win for Westside. Brent Martineau along with Kevin Sullivan putting a bow on Game of the Week number 4 here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, and this one maybe not as entertaining of a football game. Some sloppy play at times. Keep in mind, Jackson was coming off a bye week, hadn't played in a couple weeks.
2 weeks, yep.
And Westside had to play twice in 5 days. So different circumstances created at times a bit of a clunky game.
Yes.
But you know what? The Wolverines will take it because now they're 3-1.
3-1, yeah, and they haven't been 3-1 in a few years. And Coach DeBose, I tell you, he's got a lot of weapons. We learned tonight they have a lot of weapons. Jared Ely, Mahan, Terry, and then the quarterback Otis on offense, and they can keep pounding. And then they got the big back, Braswell, they can pound at you. So they did a good job of spreading it out and getting everybody involved. But defensively, Philpott led them on defense, getting everybody lined up, but they get after you pretty good on defense.
I feel like we said Chandler Martin and Chadwick Martin's name a bunch, Atirius Lewis's name a bunch, Elijah Velzant's name a bunch, Zamar Hopkins and Knowledge Williams had the pick six, of course. So, yeah, there were some nice moments. This is a good football team. And they don't go deep, and so they have to stay healthy.
Right.
But they go to Orange Park next week. And
big
then
game.
Baker
That'll
County
be big.
That.
Yeah, that's big.
Big couple weeks.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks for them will make their season. Orange Park will be a big rival for them, and then of course the district game with Baker County.
Absolutely. Time to go over our drive of the game, brought to you by the Honda at the Avenues. Lou Saab Honda at the Avenues, Jacksonville's Honda Giant, the Honda dealer that makes you happy. In our drive of the game, Coach, I'm going to go back to the first drive of the game because that was probably our most extensive drive we had. And I think the young man that deserves a lot of credit is Elliot Blair. He comes in and he starts this football game. We still don't really know why he started, but he played the opening quarter. They got the benefit of a couple of penalties on that drive, but on a fourth down play, he launches it up to Ely. Ely makes a nice catch, and they get on the board first on the road on their first drive of the night.
Right, and you don't know how much he's played quarterback. I know that he's listed as a quarterback on the roster, but with Otis being in the game and been a 3-year starter, basically, he probably hasn't played a lot. So for him to come in early on and complete not just that pass, but the other pass, a couple plays before that, and then to establish the run early, I think they did a good job establishing the run. But he threw a really nice ball. Ely, who's a really good player, made a nice play in the end zone, and that was a really big drive.
Absolutely. Honda at the Avenues, our drive of the game. Lou Saab Honda at the Avenues, Jacksonville's Honda Giant, the Honda dealer that makes you happy. Also want to thank Mr. Chubby's Wings, our pregame show sponsor here on our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week on ESPN 690, and Baker's Sports. They help us out with our Coach of the Week, and you can hear who the Coach of the Week for week number 4 will be coming up on Tuesday on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Austin Lane and myself from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Now you look forward a little bit, and Andrew Jackson gets Wilson next week.
Right, homecoming here on Main Street. Yes, sir.
That'll be a big one to bounce back, right?
Yes.
Kind of keep this thing going the right way.
Yeah, again, and Coach Atwater knows, what he's in. He's got a lot of young kids. I think he expected them to be ready to play a little bit tonight. I'm not saying they weren't ready to play, but that first drive, them being able to drive the ball and score on that first drive sort of set the tone for it. So Coach will do a good job getting them back going, and Coach DeBose just got to keep building and keep doing what he does.
Bowls, by the way, up on St. Augustine early in that game, 7-0. A couple of scores to pass along for you. And we'll keep an eye on some of the other ones. West Nassau beats Baldwin 42-32.
Oh.
So Baldwin playing a couple of times this week. They beat Westside. They lose to West Nassau. And at last check, it was Sandalwood up on Nice 28-6. You can catch all the scores and a lot of highlights from around the area coming up tonight on the Friday Night Blitz, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. And that will include not only highlights, but a little reaction from this one as we'll go get a little post-game and bring it to you on the TV side. That's going to take care of business here on a Friday night. We get off a little bit early, Coach.
A little bit early, yes, sir.
Go have a good rest of your weekend.
You too, man. I appreciate it. It was a good time as all. We're heading to Georgia next week.
We're going to Southeast Georgia next week. Camden County off to a good start of the season. They'll play Brunswick. That one will be a 7 o'clock start, actually, next week up in Southeast Georgia on ESPN 690. Once again, thanks to Mr. Chubby's Wings, Baker Sports, and Lusab, Honda of the Avenues, for helping us with our Game of the Week on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. For Justin Couzard back in the studio, Kevin Sullivan, the Hall of Fame coach, I'm Brent Martineau. Westside beats Jackson 41-0 right off Main Street in our Action Sports Jacks Game of the Week. Westside now 3-1. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to ESPN 690's High School Football Game of the Week. Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. for Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.